Lord have mercy.
What's going
That's
on,
not
guys?
that's not
It's
gonna
not
get
going to
old
be
for
good,
me.
buddy. You are crazy, man. I even covered this
It's
early
not
because
gonna get old
you
for me,
you
man.
you know what happens, man. This is why it's the truck and shit show, buddy. You know that, right? Let me read these comments,
I
man.
know
I'm
it,
not
man.
even going to
Shoot.
bring it up, man. I'm not even going to bring it up, man. Brian Jess said he told a trucker in Fayetteville, North Carolina, about the international guy. He thinks he's going to call. His name is Brad. Small talk while doing his laundry. Appreciate it, Brian. And I know we've kind of hit or miss here the last couple of days, but I'll try and give you a ring tomorrow. I'll be driving pretty much all day tomorrow. Rick Pig is in the house. What's up,
Well,
guys?
thanks for joining us
Uh,
tonight, Brian.
yeah,
Rig Pig, how
the
you doing?
right way to truck. What's up, buddy? There's the boy Country. What's up, Country?
How you doing?
And we got Brian Jess. Y'all full of truck
Country.
shit. Yep, yep, that's right. All right, man. So,
Pretty much. And you know who else is full of shit?
who's that?
Let me tell you. Let me before we get started, right?
Yep.
I need to tell y'all who else is full of shit. Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut, count your days, bro. Okay, y'all see how tiny these little chicken wings is?
They
And
ain't
you know
chicken
how
wings,
much
they're
I
pigeon
paid for
wings.
these?
Yeah, those are pigeon wings.
I
Did you ever
swear,
see the movie?
the guy inside the TA, he was like, look at these, look, this is my thumb. Like,
Did you ever see the movie
these are
Anchorman 2?
tiny. The guy
Did
in
you
the
ever see
TA, he was
Anchorman
like,
2?
probably did, probably did.
Remember
I don't know.
the chicken of the cave where they were serving
That came out when
bats?
I was little, wasn't it?
It just came out like 4 years ago. Were you little 4 years ago?
What?
Yeah, it just came out like 4 or 5 years ago. The
Yeah,
second one just came out.
I was still a kid
So
then.
anyway, there was the chicken
I
of
was
the
still a
cave. Don't you
baby.
remember they were frying up bat wings? You must have a little bit of a delay, man, because we're talking over each other. Is your headset? Can you hear okay? I guess you
I can
can.
hear you fine.
I don't know, man, because there's like a 2 or 3 second delay between the two of us.
I think you got the delay.
It's not me, buddy. So you just gonna eat chicken wings on the live tonight
It's
while
good
we got
chicken wing,
professional
but
people on here? Okay. All right. So what? Tell us about your week, D.
before we even get into all of that, we got some stuff to get down. Uh, well, um, let's see. I got my flatbed training done, so yay me. I'm just sitting here waiting for a trailer right now. In the meantime, I took myself over to Georgia here on Friday to deliver my load. Well, let me back it up for a second. Thursday, picked up my load over here in Grapevine. Now, I was supposed to get loaded pretty early quick because it delivered the next day in Lithia Springs, like early in the morning. I got there at 10 o'clock because that was my appointment for. I got there 9:30, 10 o'clock for a 10 o'clock appointment. They had me sitting there all day, 4 or 5 hours. Agent called, tried to figure out what's going on. Come to find out, they changed my appointment to 2 o'clock. So I actually left out at 2 o'clock that afternoon, which by that time, right, you got to drive 800 miles. It's not going to be some, that means I'm going the distance for the whole night. And you know I'm solar powered, right? But I did what I had to do. I got as close as I could. Got down to Alabama. I shut it down at like what 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Split thinking that maybe my split clock would work, but for some reason I still can't get it right with these split clocks. Woke up the next morning. They gave me back my time, and I only had 1 hour of drive time, 168 miles away. So that was not gonna happen. So I ended up just doing the whole 10 hours. Brought me up to 3 o'clock for delivery. I was like, okay, check my BOLs, checked everything. I do have a window. I got until 3 o'clock to deliver. Boom, I go deliver the load. I'm thinking it's a live on load. It's a drop it hook. I'm getting happy because my next load I need to pick up before 3 o'clock. I call the agent. They said, "Don't worry about it. You can be there as long as you're there before 6 o'clock. You can pick up the load because it's preloaded. So drop trailer, pick up next one. Guess who has to go around Atlanta to get to Jefferson? This guy right here. Yeah, right here. This guy right here. So that 60 miles turned into 2 hours. I don't know. I got there. At 6:01. Nobody's there at the building. Gates closed. Can't even get in there. Call the agent, see what's going on, see if they can help me in any kind of way whatsoever. I see one creep CFI. I can't remember. He got a red truck. He's sitting way back there. I guess he's getting ready to go out. So I'm thinking, okay, I know it's a preloaded trailer. I know the mailbox, where they keep the BOLs for the mailbox if anybody come in and out, between the time frame to come get a load. I'm just waiting for him to come out. He takes his sweet time just to get out the gate. But by then, another guy, I guess he worked at the warehouse. He was leaving for the day. I hopped in my truck. I'm getting ready to go through the gate that he came out of, and he was like, "Hey, they're closed already." I was like, "Yeah, but I'm here for a preloaded trailer. I know what the paperwork is and everything, yada yada yada." So boom, he lets me in the gate. So I ain't had to back up. He was like, "I'm gonna let you in the gate. Go ahead and get your stuff." I go in, go to the mailbox, and I cannot find my BOLs. I'm like, dude. So so I get ready to go talk to CFI dude. So go and see if he was able to find the paperwork, because the guy told me that CFI was doing the same thing. Crete, whoever it was, he got a red truck. So me trying to walk over to go talk to him, he drives off. So I was like, son of a bitch. Okay, whatever. I walk back to the mailbox and I look through it carefully again, and boom, there goes the Landstar load. Sit there looking just to verify that it's the right pickup number and everything is on there, because my eyes are pretty small, so I really couldn't see it. Calling the agent, trying to figure it out, because the pickup number is hiding on this little piece of paper that they stapled on there. Got the load. I'm on my way. I got 2 more loads after this for a $7,000 gross week, and hopefully I don't have no more hiccups. So that's been my week right now. I've been sitting here playing with stuff soon to be released soon. I promise you guys, I'm gonna make a video. Yeah, just gotta wait for it. Okay. But other than that, that's been my week. I'm sitting here doing 34-hour outside of Dallas. Gonna drop my load off morning Wilmer. Pick up Fort Worth, head over to Virginia. For Virginia, I got a multi-stop to Michigan, delivering on Friday. What about you, buddy? How you doing?
My week has been screwed up. I've had all kinds of shit happen to me, and I don't really want to get into it because it just angers me. My stuff mostly does with F2F's crap. I had a trailer earlier in the week, I think it was Tuesday, that had a bald tire on it where a driver didn't do a pre-trip. I mean, the tire had absolutely zero tread on it, so I had to get the trailer tire replaced. Well, I got that tire replaced. And 2 days later, they informed me, and I say the safety department in F2F informed me that you still have that same trailer. Yep, I sure do. Well, it needs a the 3-month or 6-month inspection. I'm like, okay. Well, why didn't you tell me this beforehand? Well, the sticker's on the trailer. I said, well, let me give you news. There's no sticker on this trailer. Number one. Number two, it was loaded with product, because they were questioning me. Well, why did you take that trailer? I'm like, well, the system didn't kick me back and say it needed an inspection. So that's one problem that they have right now. The system doesn't kick it back. Second problem is there's no sticker on the trailer. So either another driver ripped it off or something. But anyway, so I had to get a trailer inspection done. And at the same time, the trailer inspection, I noticed there was the mud flap missing, and the other one was hanging on by dear life. So I had 2 mud flaps and an inspection done on Thursday, which obviously put me behind on just about every load that I had. So that's pretty much my week. I still came somewhere near 5 to 5,500 on a gross week. So not too bad under all the circumstances. Currently doing a 34, and I'll be rolling out of here about 12:30 tonight to drop the load that I have for the weekend. Delivers at 5 a.m., and then I've got a short bounce, about 50 miles, to get the next one that's going to Fayetteville, North Carolina. That's pretty much my week. So, guys, I got a special treat for you, just like I put in the comment section or the posting section of YouTube. I was at
Well,
Matt's this year at the truck show.
before we got to, before we get to that, let's get the news article out the way. I need a couple more people to come in. I need y'all to come and like the show, hit the like button. While we get this news article out of the way, we're gonna give the floor to our special guest right after that. Sounds like
How
a
long
good
is your
plan?
news article going to be? Well, no, not really, because we're at the 10-minute mark, and I don't want to
I
keep
only
these
got two
guys
of
any
them.
longer. Well, these guys, they're professional guys. I don't want to keep them as longer than I have to. That was the reason I said 10 minutes. But go ahead with your news articles. That's why I got in there 30 minutes early to
Okay,
discuss
I'll
all
do
this stuff.
one real quick. Mm, I'll do one real quick. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull it up. Screen. So it seems we have a lot of accidents been going on, especially with a lot of foreigners and all that stuff that's been with these accidents and whatnot that's been going on lately.
That
Now,
that
a
accident
while
was 2 years
back,
ago.
there
You know
was
that,
an
right?
accident. Well, a while back, there was an accident that involved the Greyhound bus and a bunch of trucks that were parked on the side on an exit ramp. I believe it was really early in the morning. Um, Reports were that the Greyhound bus was traveling, and I guess the driver was getting tired, and instead of pulling over to take a quick break or anything like that, I guess he dozed off and he slammed into a bunch of trucks that were sitting on the side of the entrance ramp to a rest area. Now we all know that we're not allowed or we're not supposed to be parking on in those designated areas, but we also understand that there is a pretty huge shortage of truck parking in the country. So this is an update to this story here. I'm gonna go ahead and breeze through it real quick with you guys. So, fatal crash between Greyhound bus and parked truck on exit ramp, subject to May NTSB board meeting. Okay, the National Transport Safety Board will hold a public board meeting May 20th to determine the probable cause of a 2023 fatal crash between a motor coach and three tractor trailer semi. What? Three truck tractor semi trailers parked on the shoulder on the rest area exit ramp on I-70 in Highland, Illinois on July 12, 2023. A Prevost motorcoach operated by the Greyhound Lines, Inc. traveled from Indianapolis to St. Louis, departed Interstate 70 onto an exit ramp for the Silver Lake rest area while it collided with three truck tractors semi. Why they word it like that? Three semi tractor combination units that were parked on the ramp right shoulder. As a result of the crash, three motor coach passengers died, and the driver and the other passengers sustained injuries. The truck drivers in the three combination vehicle were uninjured. Pretty much, that was a rude awakening right there, that early in the morning. And somebody slams to the side of your truck. That's got to be scary. During the meeting, the NTSB board meeting will discuss safety issues related to this crash and vote on a probable cause and safety recommendations designed to prevent similar crashes in the future. Members of the public and the media can view the webcast, and they have a list, not a list, a link there where you can go ahead and watch it. So, my question to you guys is, who do you think they're going to blame this and put fault to? Is it going to be the truck drivers that were quote unquote legally parked on an entrance ramp, or are they going to place the blame on the Greyhound bus driver? All right, let's get into your thing, buddy. Let's go.
All right. So, like I was saying, guys, at the truck show this year at Matt's, I made some contacts with quite a few people, and it's been a little slow coming, getting some results back with phone calls. And the first people to call me back was the Road Warrior headset company. I'm going to bring the two guys on board here in just a second and let them discuss the company. And I think you guys will be very well happy with the people that I brought aboard here. And again, like I've always told you guys, I try to start a channel that, brings, helps drivers out and brings value. And that's the whole purpose of me bringing these guys aboard. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in Kurt and Bill and let them explain the product. Hello, Kurt. Hello, Bill. How are you guys?
Hey, James.
Hello.
Hey, D.
Good evening, Bill.
Hey, James.
Good evening, Kurt.
Hey, D, you're in my backyard if you were Grapevine in Fort Worth.
Yeah, I'm outside on I-20 at that Petro or TA right here, but that's where I was last week, and I'm gonna be in the same area tomorrow anyway. So
Cool.
Bill,
Yeah, I'm right near the airport. Right.
Bill, can you tell them a good place to get some real chicken wings? Then those thumb-sized ones he were eating didn't look like they were doing the job.
Those are pigeon wings.
They are terrible, man.
Yeah,
Cornish have bigger wings, okay?
You guys have seen the Anchorman 2 movie, right? Anchorman 2. You remember the chicken of the cave where they were frying up the bats at that fast food restaurant? He says, "Hey, I got to make cutbacks. I've got to serve something." He doesn't even remember that movie. He said he's too young for it. I'm like, the movie just came out about 5 years ago.
Look at D. He is too young. He's like a kid.
Yeah.
I told you guys, man. I just got my CDL like yesterday.
Hey, D,
Right.
tell him you read about it in history books.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
All right, Kurt.
Social
What I'm
studies,
going to do is what we're going to do, and we're both going to keep quiet here. We're going to give the floor to you, Kurt and Bill, and let you all talk about the product and everything that we have. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to make myself small here and go out of it, and I'll just be here to answer questions and read comments once you all go through your couple steps that you got.
Yeah, that'd be great. Jump in anytime with comments. We appreciate everybody that's on here, that's listening. Would love to answer any questions that you have. I don't. Maybe some of you saw us at Matt's. That's really where we launched this brand, Road Warrior Audio. And just to tell you a little bit about us, Bill and I have been in this industry for a number of years, 10 plus years, supporting drivers with their audio needs. We worked for another company in this space and brought headphones and headsets to all the majors and the independents in that space and worked with everyone. And we both just really, fell in love with this opportunity and this ability to work with drivers to help provide a solution. Everybody's so connected all the time in this space and in this industry. And we just really liked what we could do to help and the real feel of it all. And it just became really important to us. And as we both, as I traveled on to some other opportunities in the audio world over the last couple of years, Bill stayed in his role and continued working in the space with all the major retailers. And then I was with another audio company, and through our contacts, we saw that there was an opportunity here that we could do something special. We could deliver products that were exceptional in their quality, affordable to the driver, but deliver something more than what we felt like was being delivered in comfort, in features, in support, and just in every way. I feel like our goal was to just try to become part of this community by delivering something really great. And that's what we feel like we did. So we launched two products in the entry level space, so sub 100, a $99 RW2 and a $79 RW1 under the Road Warrior brand. And it's just, when we decided to do this, the company that I was currently with had a really incredible team of go-to-market people, engineers, just to say, hey, we can do this. They tried on everything in the space and said, we can build something better. We can make this be better. We can make the quality better, the comfort better, everything about it. We can do this. And so we went to work and addressed pain points that were out there from drivers to the retailers, things that we've heard from being at shows, being at Matt's, being at GATS back in the day. And we just we felt like we addressed all of those and then some. And that's what it's really about for us. So we launched at Mats this year to some really great success. We're trending towards some other retail placements here as we go forward, and our goal is to be in all of major travel center retail, as well as many independents as we can, and then some other retail locations outside of that. So that's a bit of the short from my side. I want to give Bill a chance to talk a little bit about it because he's really close to it. This is something that brought him off the sidelines, so to speak, and back in the game. So take it over for Bill, from here, Bill.
Yeah, thanks, Kurt. Yeah, and James and Dee, thanks. We appreciate what you guys do, and appreciation is really why we're here, right? We gain such a tremendous respect working with the drivers and the retailers that support the drivers. And, that we really saw that, during COVID, during the COVID pandemic, and, what the professional drivers did to keep the country running during that time. Never shut down, never shied away from whatever needed to be done. They weren't, they weren't afraid to get out there and mingle, and the truck stops stayed open, and these guys kept working, and they worked extra hours. So through the last couple of years, then the economy's been a little rough for some of these guys, right? And we knew that from what we witnessed, that the prices just kept going up in this space. You're paying $249, $299, $349 for headsets now, and for the headsets that the drivers were really looking for, give me something that's crazy comfortable. Give me something that sounds amazing. Give me something that I can truly get 100-foot of range so I can walk around my cab. And give me something that sounds really good with great talk, standby time, and don't gouge me. $79.99, really easy to work. And I'm a buyer. And James, I think it was great to meet you at Mats, and from the reception and the responses we got from drivers and people that visited us. And, we saw so many great moments where, like I think you had said, you put this headset on and you said, wow, this is the most comfortable headset I've ever worn. And those kinds of things really validated what Kurt and I had felt. We've been looking at this opportunity for, I think he mentioned it, like a year and a half. And we just said, somebody's got to know that in this sub 99 price point, there's a tremendous opportunity out there for guys that are just looking for a really good basic headset. And I think we've over delivered on that. It's a great looking device. We looked at some pain points like Kurt mentioned. Some drivers talk about how hot the ear cup gets. We move the battery up the headband a little bit. We change the configuration of how the headband is made. It's just the wearing experience. We introduced environmental noise cancellation. It's a new technology in that space. So it's the yardstick for eliminating ambient noise. So the responses have been really, really good there. Bottom line, we just think we've really got for the driver excellent quality, amazing sound, wickedly comfortable, in a price point that's palatable.
Okay. So we got a really affordable headset here. We have noise cancellation. We have a different battery, the different placement for the battery for the coolant. What else sets your product apart from everybody else?
I think a couple of things that we really tried to focus on. You mentioned a few. We also felt that one of the points of concern always for drivers was range. And so when they got out of their truck, they would say, oh, I got to go in the back. I got to do a safety check, whatever the case is. And there'd be that static. It would start to come up halfway down the trailer, or as they got away, too far, they would lose that. So we felt like we're only going to say exactly what we feel we've tested independently and found it to be accurate. So we feel really confident in our claim and that we do over 100 feet of range. So our that ability to be able to do a true check, to be able to truly walk around, really does indeed exist with our product. And now there's all kinds of external factors that can play on that, but through the testing that we've done, we found that it truly indeed does, and it really addressed something that was very important to the drivers. I think durability is really key. So we have an IP54 rating on our device, so it has some protection against moisture and dust. We also felt like comfort was really key. So we didn't, we tried to go above and beyond on the ear cushion, the memory foam, how those were built, how they were put together, how they were sewn together. Everything around that was really thought about, as opposed to just saying, oh, let me choose from 2 or 3 ear cushions and put it on. It looks comfortable. We really went through the process of saying, this is critical. We need to have this be comfortable for the driver who's going to wear this potentially 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. And not only on the ear cup side, but also on the other side, there's usually a plastic piece there that's what we heard a lot of at the show that just digs into my head. It's too tight. I feel like I'm in a vice. So we really tried to optimize the positioning, the design of the headband to really be different than what's out there currently. And then we added this memory foam, what we call a biscuit, or the memory foam pad on that side, that just almost makes it feel like it's floating on your head. It just sits so comfortably and just gives you a really comfortable feel. So
yeah, so this isn't a piece of plastic here that digs into your head, like Kurt mentioned. This is a piece of memory foam on here. It's incredibly comfortable.
James has worn it. He can verify that.
Let me verify a couple of statements that they just said. I know Dee brought up a bunch of stuff there, but let me verify. When I put this headset on, and all you guys know, am I able to say the other brand, or you all have
No, you can. No, you can say whatever you want.
So
sure.
the company that they were talking about is Blue Parrot, and I'm actually on a Blue Parrot right now. And the only reason I'm using the Blue Parrot is because it's easier for me to use this one time a week on this laptop. And this one I use every single day now. It's the Road Warrior, and I've had it for 30 days, and I've tried it, tested it. And what I can validate to you guys is, with the Blue Parrot, when you get to the back of the trailer and you're closing up the doors, guess what? You lose connection. With the Road Warrior, you do not lose that connection. I can walk around the whole truck and never lose connection. And quite frankly, I can, like they said, I think it'll probably do every bit of 100 feet, if not even more than that. It might even go further. It might even reach the 150 mark. I've actually left my phone in the truck, walked into the Loves, and came back. Oh crap! I forgot my phone. But you know what? I never lost connection. So I can validate that statement 100%.
So
hey James, I'm glad.
Give
me 1 second, D. Yeah, and I'm really glad you brought that up, because Blue Parrot and the Blue Parrot models weren't our target. You know, we felt that this price point was really underserved. That the headsets that were out there previously under $100. Weren't something that there wasn't much quality put into that. So Dee, to your question, and not only, I think another thing that I'm not sure if this shows up really well, but this is a carbon fiber finish. And I think that's another thing you get. But Dee, I think the important thing is that all of those pieces that Kurt articulated, and some of the feedback that James has given about the comfort. I mean, these are just ridiculously comfortable, and the sound is amazing. I think the real differentiator, D, is that we're not going to ask you to spend $199 for this. That you can get all of this on and the highest price we're going to market with right now is the RW2 at $99.99. I think that's the real differentiator, that all of these incredible features and functionality that we've talked about, and this comfort and new technology and environmental noise cancellation for ambient noise, especially in the cab, that you're not going to touch that in this price point. And to James' point, yeah, James, we think these will stand up against some of those other models that you talked about at a higher price. Again, that wasn't our original target. Our hope is that we would really love, and this is, just kind of a goal, right? We think that we would love to own the opening price point space. We think that our product is that good. And then we feel that the drivers know enough about this. They research it enough. The retailers research it enough, know enough about it, that if they see after 3 months, 6 months, 9 months go by, and hey, the feedback from their customers has been really great, and they say, hey, why don't you see if these Road Warrior guys can, bring us something with, maybe voice activation or some features that add another $40, $50 to it. And by then, we feel that we would have earned that space, that James and Dee, you guys would say, hey, look, I love everything about this $99 product. If they sold one that was $149, I'd be a candidate for it just because of the experience I've had over the first 6 months of use or their first year in the market. I think that's really our second tier goal. The first tier was to do everything we could at that sub 99 and to delight the heck out of everybody that's out there, and for them to say that's a quality piece at 79, the one that James was showing, or 99, this RW2.
So let me tell you this.
That's what we're really passionate about.
I would have spent the extra money, and let me explain to you guys what I really liked about it and what really set me off about this. Two things. Like he said, and I'm going to pull this up, the comfort of the cushions. I mean, it doesn't even feel like you even have a headset on when you wear it. And the second thing is, you said this is carbon fiber right here.
The carbon fiber is this appearance. This, you can see the carbon fiber finish.
So what is this? Is this like a polymer or some kind?
It is a polymer, and when you look at that, one thing I just want to comment while you're showing that piece, that was specifically designed. If you think of some of the other models that are out there, it's a thin piece of metal or a thin piece of plastic. Yep. This was specifically designed wider for distribution of that pressure point on this side. When you're coming down on one single point, you get more pressure. It was to disperse that pressure so you have a more comfortable fit. So as it's wider here, comes down to the oval there, really designed. The holes help it with strength and help it with its, so it keeps it comfortable. There's less heat up there just if you're wearing it. And then some folks who are losing some hair, that metal can be very uncomfortable on top of the head and rub. And so we feel like we've built something that's more comfortable to wear for an extended period.
That was the second thing that I was going to say about this. That polymer up there, I don't know if you guys are old school car guys or anything like I am, but I'm an old school car guy with drag racing. See these holes that they have in here? Those holes, guess what? That takes a little bit of weight. It's not a lot of weight, but it's a little bit of weight. Back in the 60s and 70s, when drag racing was really popular, they would drill holes into the frame of the cars, the bumpers, everything that was weight. Every little bit of ounce of weight that you take off is a big deal. And that's what I wanted to point out more. That's what really caught my eye when I saw that, is all this and the weight, the polymer, and the cushions. And that makes, believe it or not, it makes a big, big difference.
Now,
I'm sorry.
Let's see. So I would like to know, James, from your end, because I've been on the phone with you before, talking to you on the phone with that headset. What is the audio quality sounding when we're talking on the phone, when you're talking to your wife or anybody else on the phone? Like, how does that sound?
Great question.
So I'll tell you right now, I only have one complaint. If you guys are okay with me complaining about something.
You bet.
And it's an easy complaint. It's maybe something you guys can fix. And I don't mean it as a negative thing. The only complaint that I have, when I first click it and turn it on, the volume is really low. And I understand why you do that. It's because of other people. Maybe I'm not hard of hearing, but sometimes I've got to turn it up to the max volume. And it's a little bit of a pain in the butt just to turn the volume up each time. I wish that it had a setting to where it stayed at the volume you left it at. Every time I answer a call, I've got to raise it up. But the quality of the call is phenomenal. It beats the Blue Parrot better than in any other headset that I've ever had. The quality is phenomenal. There's no static. Like I said, when I walk around the trailer, there's absolutely zero static. But if I had any, and again, I'm a truthful guy, that's the only complaint that I have about the headset.
That's great feedback.
And again, our goal was to beat everything out there in this price range, right? But if you say that it sounds as good or it's as comfortable as something that costs $50 to $100 more, we'll take it for now, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's 300% better than anything I've ever worn. And I've had all of them.
Our goal is to, what is and has been since we started this, is to just build something that we feel is really great. We we're certainly, anytime there's other products out there, you look at what's out there, you say, okay, we can do this differently or that differently. But realistically, we feel like if we make products that are really good for the drivers, really have features that have value in them, not just changing colors or doing something different and adding price. We really want to focus on, if there's a delta in price, we want to make sure that there's value in that, and we want to make sure that we continue to provide something that the driver says, you know what, that's something I need. That's something I'm willing to, add to, because it's something of value to me as a driver. And that's really our goal. We feel like we compete with ourselves. We want to be the very best we can be. We want to be the best we can be for the driving community and for the professional driver. And that's really what we do every day here.
Absolutely. So we have a great product here. We have because in these times and days now, we have a lot of expenses already on the road, especially for us owner operators. We already have to pay for fuel, food, and everything else. So when we come across something that adds a good value, we definitely like to take advantage of that by purchasing said items. So we have under $100 by James account, excellent audio quality, excellent build
Hey, D,
quality.
we gotta get one of these on you.
Send me one. Send it to me.
Yeah,
You know what,
James,
better? I'll go ahead and purchase. I'll go ahead and purchase one.
Let us send you one. We appreciate what you're doing. James, could you drop us an address to get one to D, or however you do that for us? But yeah, we'd love to have you experience this. But go ahead.
D was on a good run there.
I would love to go ahead and I'll do a product review as well too. I'll be honest, I'll be fair, I'll be 100% with you guys. But I got to get down to the nitty gritty with you guys, because the comment section is asking this question and they want to know,
please,
where is this product manufactured? Is it made in the United States, Mexico, or Canada? Is it a product that is designed by Americans and built somewhere else? The comment section want to know. Let the people know what's going on.
Yeah, that's a great question. So currently, the product is designed fully 100% in the U.S., but we do manufacture outside of the U.S. right now. We are manufacturing in China, and understanding what's going on the world stage, that there are some concerns around that for everyone, but we're continuing to look at options that can benefit us, continuing to deliver really good products at really great prices. So it's ongoing. So we're looking at it. We're continuing to try to see what options there will be available, how long this will continue. But for now, yes, we manufacture overseas. We do design everything here in our office. We have an office in California, and that's where everything is designed. So
I want to quell some worries here, okay? Because we know that we have the ongoing tariff war between our president Donald Trump and Xi Jinping.
He's going to go over all that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, D, that great intuitive question too, right? And I just said everybody that's buying anything that's electronic in nature currently has that same question, right? So fortunately, the company that we're with, that Kurt works for, has proactively started to explore and already have some agreements made. Of course, we're all looking at what nations have more favorable tariff rates. And we're looking to diversify and expand as quickly as possible. And that currently it's kind of a moving target, right? So it can't just be one. We need to be ready to move in a couple different directions. So, we know that at a 20, 30, 40, 50% tariff rate, what that would do to that discussion that we had about a $99 headset, right? So it's incumbent on the manufacturer to find more favorable, while they're working to build everything in the US, to find more favorable tariff situations to get us to that point. It's going to take a while. Anybody that's manufacturing electronics is using components that are made in China, right?
So probably the microphones we're on, the phones that we're using, the laptops that we're on. There's so much of it. The car parts. I mean,
the camera
Yeah.
that I'm using right now is a Chinese-made camera.
Yeah.
Designed
So
that's
our
even the hard part.
Yeah.
So it's our responsibility to you guys and the customer and the retailer to make sure we continue to find the most favorable tariff rates by country, and that'll be our goal. I mean, ultimately, I think what this is driving everyone to, and I don't know what that will do to the prices ultimately, but I think the government would like to see everything built in the U.S. using U.S. parts, right? But that might be far-fetched currently. But we're doing everything we can to mitigate those tariff concerns as much as possible. So great question.
Okay. So with the whole tariff situation, we got like I said, I see a lot of manufacturers or other companies are raising prices. Even they are, passing the cost off to the end user. At current right now, with the product that you guys are having, you guys are selling it at $99, which is a great thing.
79 and 99. Yeah,
My
the one
correction.
that the one that James showed, the one is $79.99 and the RW2 is $99.99.
Okay. So how now if the situation that we're having going on with the tariff situation, will there be a price increase if you aren't able to find if this whole tariff situation doesn't get resolved in a much favorable way for, let's say, for both countries?
I think that's has a lot to do with the retailer, and what their requirements continue to be and what they need. If the retailer was to have a different view on what those price points needed to be, I think it could go down and be different for each manufacturer. So it's ongoing. I don't want to avoid the question. I know that some companies have already raised prices, not only in this space, but across the board. I mean, they're talking about products we have at the grocery store, products at your Walmart, your Target, all the locations, pretty much everything at Best Buy, things like that. It's just those are they have the potential to change. For now, we have inventory. The products that we have that we currently are selling on our website, on our Amazon page, launching soon in travel center retailers, are not affected because we do have inventory. So we will be able to hold to that. Now, if this goes on for who knows how long, we will have to address it if we can't come up with a better solution. But our goal was to build an opening price point product, 2 of them, sub 100. That's where we are today. We're going to try to continue to be at that and continue to push for that, because that's how these were built. That's what they were designed to be. And hopefully circumstances out of our control won't change that, but we're going to do our darndest to try. I mean, we're, like we said in the beginning of this, we're in this not just as a company, but we want to be a friend to the driver, a partner to the driver, someone who's really involved in it. This is something, there's not a lot of companies that are just getting into this space to say, hey, I want to build a headset for the trucking community. We did it because we felt like we could do something of real value for the driver. And that's why we did it. And Bill and I, being in this for 10 plus years, and our company doing audio for the last 10 plus years, we just said, you know what, this is a great convergence of two groups of people who are passionate about really good audio and passionate about delivering something good to this channel of people who serve our country. So let's do it together, and we're going to keep trying. We're going to keep fighting to do that, and hopefully, it'll work out for all of us to do it together.
And Dee, your question now and concern now, and everyone's concern now, is tariff based, right? But a year ago, when Kurt and I first really got serious about this price point, it was the slipping economy, right? That drivers had less disposable income. The average selling prices of these devices have slipped in the retailers, and they don't necessarily want to see that either. But that's when we felt most that our most critical mission was to deliver a quality product in that $79 to $99 price point, in a category where the prices continue to increase without seeing a lot of innovation, simply because the economy was challenging. So
Right.
we're still incredibly bullish about this price point. We want to dominate this price point, and we hope we're going to earn a spot in the minds of the drivers and the retailers, that in the next 6 months or a year, we'll have them asking for us to build something with some more features in it, or some things that these don't currently offer, like a voice activation. But that's really our goal. So, I mean, your questions are terrific. And the tariff situation is new, but the economic challenge isn't new to us. And that's why we really started talking about this a year ago.
Gotcha. So, we got the we got to be able to break this ice right here, especially with the tariff situation that's going on. People in the chat wanted to know where the product was being manufactured, and and the likes of that. So, let's move on to a different area here. Is My two questions right now would be, will there be a two-ear option, and can I use this to play video games? Because a lot of truckers, they do take their video games with them in their truck and on the road, and it'll be pretty cool if we can hook it up to our PlayStations and our Xboxes, and we can duke it out with our friends on the 34-hour reset.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the quick answer would be, for a two ear cup option, I think we're looking at whatever the next generation might look at. Our first two are the RW1, RW2. I think we'll look at anything, and that's why we're hoping to get as much feedback as we can from the market. Hey, is this wearing style still viable? The driver demographic seems to get younger. Are the younger drivers still going to want to wear a headset like we're all wearing right now? So we're really interested in understanding all of those kinds of questions. But as far as so they're not optimized for those games. But if we talk about hearing aids in a second too, I think the thing would be to just, hey, try it. It might work in the current configuration. Kurt, I don't know if there's any special adapter or any optimization that's done. You've got gaming headsets as well at the parent company of TWT Audio, right? I don't know that there's an interface, but I know that in some situations they would be able to use this headset or take advantage of something else that TWT offers at some pretty incredible prices as well.
Okay, that's pretty good. Now, we were able to talk about the product, the current products that you guys have, and the features that we had. We had to bring out the sweat busting questions about the tariffs and the manufacturing. People wanted to know, and we've already talked about the connectivity via whether it's video games or whether we can use. There will be a two-ear option, but I want to get to know who Bill and Kurt is separate from the company. So if we can get a brief history of each of you guys, so we can so our viewers can get to know you guys a little bit more on the personal side.
Great.
Sure.
Go ahead, Bill. You want me to go first? I'll go first.
Sure.
Okay, no problem. So on the personal side, just from a work side of life, I've been in consumer electronics for a number of years, depending on your age, on who's listening on or being taking in this call. Worked at Motorola for a number of years and really got my start in consumer electronics there with phones, handsets. Motorola was at one time the leader in that space and really set the standard for so much that's in how handsets were really developed. A lot of the technology was driven by Motorola as a company. Spent some time working with Samsung, Korean-based company. A lot of people might have a handset from them as they were climbing up the ranks. Came over to the original company of Blue Parrot, which was VXI. It was a small privately held company, and that's where I started with Blue Parrot. And then Blue Parrot, or VXI, was purchased by a company called GN Audio, which you might know in the United States under the Jabra name, Jabra. You may have seen that in a retail setting.
I worked in the call center before, so I know about the Jabra headsets.
Okay, so
and Belltone hearing aids, Resound hearing aids. Yeah, it's a pretty diverse company. Yeah.
So that's my path that then led me to a company called TWT Audio, and we have been building headsets in the education space for the last 11 years. The leader in that space from a durability, audio quality, microphone quality, and sound, just because it's so important in education when there's language learning, testing that's going on, all is so critical. And when Bill and I worked together at VXI and then GN Audio, we came back to landing here saying, hey, this is what the market's asking for, a product that's in this opening price point that's really quality. And when I started talking to the team at TWT, they said, this is great for us because it fits what we do. We make really good products for specific markets, and we're passionate about audio. And we have a really great team. The background of our team is just so diverse, of whether they're educational background or audio background, but it sure lends to us not settling for anything less than what we feel like is the best that we can make. And so it's really great to be there and to be working there. So now that we're stepping into this channel, I feel really excited because I'm really excited to be back in the space, working with drivers. We did Matt's. We have a couple of regional shows we're planning to attend: the Texas Truck Show, the Florida Truck Show. We'll do Ontario. We'll be at Walcott for Iowa 80 and be out there showing our products and talking to people. So we're excited to just get out and about and get our brand out there. And all we ask, hey, give it a try, see what you think. We just feel like it's really it's important to us. There's certainly going to be some feedback that says, hey, you know what? It didn't work for me for this reason, or I want to know this. Like we had people at Matt's that said, hey, I wear hearing aids. I don't think they work for me. Well, we started talking about how you could use it with your hearing aid. What's the best process for doing that? Try it this way. And it was really great to see some people's eyes open up and say, wow, that does work. I can hear. This is great. And the wife's with him and saying, I can hear him now, and he feels comfortable wearing it, and things like that. So our goal, of course, as any company, you're trying to be successful as a company, but our goal is to just deliver the very best we can to this channel of people that we have so much respect for, and we love being around and being a part of. So that's really it. And that's what led me to where we are today, sitting here with you guys on this call. So I'm hoping that our Road Warrior is around for a long time, and we build not just these two products, but more products. We've already talked about what could our next product or two look like, what might that be, but the success of those, or the opportunity for those to come to life, will depend on how well we do in the market. So we're going to try our hardest to be out there, to answer questions, to be brand visible to everyone, and be in every location we can, so that people love it and we can keep going from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit older. I'm a little bit older than Kurt. So we met at Motorola, but my days, same thing. My whole career has been in the telecommunications. I started I lived in the Chicago suburbs, and I started with a company out of Elmhurst, Illinois called S&S Automotive. And they had distribution responsibility for automotive aftermarket, stereo, air conditioning, rust proofing, fabric sealant, everything that a car dealer needed to operate in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, southern Minnesota, and southwest Wisconsin. It was right around the time when cellular was kicking off, so early 90s. And I got in a category, and we launched a brand within S&S Automotive called Cellutech Communications. And we wound up being a distributor, fairly good-sized distributor for Cellular One at the time. And we put mini kiosks in all of the car dealers in those territories we talked about. And then we opened a chain of retail stores under the brand Cellutech Communications. I think we had about 13 of them at the time. Incredible business, and I learned a lot about wireless communications and cellular at the time.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, I got recruited by Radio Shack, believe it or not, from Chicago. They moved me to Texas, and I was going to be the category manager in their new Incredible Universe, Computer City group. So moved my family here, and I had great connections with the phone companies, great connections with the cellular manufacturers. And about a year into it, they decided to close that chain, and I was going to work with the Radio Shack group and the Radio Shack stores. Motorola had a need in this region, in the Texas region, for someone to handle the Southwest, and it really seemed like an exciting, can't pass this opportunity up to me. So I jumped on it. That's where I had the opportunity, the good fortune to meet Kurt, and we worked together at Motorola for a long time. And again, we just met some great people and learned a lot about the business from that company. From there, I went to a company that represented about a dozen Asian cellular phone manufacturers. Mm-hmm. They were big enough to build phones, but they didn't have a robust distribution channel in the U.S. So we were that conduit from those companies to the carriers in the United States. They had one throat to choke. They were looking for niche products. We had a dozen different manufacturers we could go find product from. We would build to spec and build to order for those guys if we won the awards. So that was, again, an incredible learning process, especially for this industry. And that's when Kurt invited me over to VXI. They were, at that time, they were going through a venture capital group that was every 3 or 4 years with companies like that. Venture capitalists are looking to buy or sell depending on what kind of money they're making. Mm-hmm. So I joined them, and the goal at that time was to make the company as profitable as we could, Kurt and I and another gentleman that we worked with, in as short of time as possible while they were soliciting the company to be sold. Well, it wasn't purchased by another venture capitalist. It was purchased by GN Audio, the parent company of Jabra, Blue Parrot. They took Blue Parrot under their umbrella. And that's where we really had the opportunity and the resources to really build this industry, within that larger umbrella. Actually retired about a year ago. But Kurt and I have had this passion for several years that, man, we really think that there's some great products out there in the $150 to $350 price range. But the drivers we thought were just begging for something in that sub 99. Hey, look, I'm all for, buying all the bells and whistles at $200, but I just want something that sounds great, fits great, works great, it's dependable. And I think that's where we've had so much respect for that driver community, and everything they've done, and everything's meant so much to us. And we enjoy the shows. We enjoy the interface. James, I mean, our situation at Matt's, that's exactly what Kurt and I love to do. We love to get out there and understand what makes you guys tick. What are you looking for? And I'm not sure if you got to witness this, but what was so validating at Matt's, and for anybody that's on the podcast here that got to see that, there'd be, hey, no, I own a Garmin, or I own a whatever, Rand McNally, or I own a Blue Parrot. Well, hey, just try this on. We understand you're a loyal user, right? And James, they would put it on, and we saw that, holy crap, this is the most incredibly comfortable headset I've ever put on. And man, did that feel good. And Kurt and I had already been using these for several months, so we knew they were going to sound good. We knew they were going to perform well, but we just, the unknown yet was, how is the reception going to be from the potential customers and the potential retailers? And man, we learned a lot, and boy, we got some great feedback on these devices. And by the way, they're under $100, and it's everything I need. And that was great.
Absolutely, man. So we're talking about Radio Shack here, man.
Yeah.
We're dating ourselves with that. So,
Yeah,
did you say
buddy.
singular wireless or cellular wireless? I mean,
Cellular One. Yeah, it was
cellular
way
one,
early.
singular one.
Yeah, back
Uh-huh.
back then, each city only had 2 carriers. It was Ameritech, AT&T, and whoever the B side was, the other side. You know,
So
now
every
there's
city or just every state?
every service area only had 2, and then that
Wow.
grew to 3 or 4.
That's crazy.
And now it's a shootout at the OK Corral, right? But
Oh man.
I mean, those were in the early times where you had 2 choices if you wanted a cell phone.
Right.
You could go
Actually,
to
it was either Cellular One or Verizon was the 2 choices back in the day.
even before Verizon. Yeah.
Wow, that is something else, man. But check this out, guys. We got these 2 gentlemen, Kurt Johnson and Big Bill Schlegel. Is that how you say it? I don't want to
Schlegel.
butcher it.
Yeah, you're close.
Schlegel. So it's not like we got 2 random guys who got a boatload of money and decided that they wanted to make some cheap stuff on the side. They literally have years of experience building up to this very moment with the product that they have. They worked in audio for quite a while now. I mean, like I said,
and we found the right partner to build it.
Absolutely, and we're talking about Radio Shack here. I mean, shoot, Radio Shack's been a long. I mean, anybody heard about a Radio Shack around it nowadays, man? So you can tell they've been not dating them, not calling them old. I'm just saying they got a lot of experience when it comes to stuff like this, So put your comments in the chat. James gonna get to them. Put your questions in the chat. We do have a couple of them in there already.
I kind of skimmed through the chats. I'm just trying to read the comments that are referring to this, and I haven't really found anything.
I've got
and tell the people watching, take advantage of this 25% off that these guys are offering.
Yeah, we didn't even get to that yet.
You won't be disappointed. This is an amazing headset. Both of these, the RW1 and RW2. It's just it depends on what you're wearing style is. If you want to go over the ear, the RW2. If you prefer it on the ear, smaller, lighter version, the RW1. But either one, the sound quality is amazing. The talk time is amazing. I promise you won't be disappointed.
We do have one question here. Somebody was asking, does the windscreen fall off every day like the Blue Pen?
Doesn't require a windscreen.
Doesn't require one. So everything.
We have one though.
Let me see if
we have one in the box. So there's a USB-C cable in the box, and there is a windscreen in there. But testing on our end says that it's not something you need. A lot of drivers are used to having one. It may be their preference. So it's up to the driver. You can or cannot use it, but we do include it in box on both models.
Great question, Poppy.
Are you messing with this by chance?
Yeah, I'm touching.
I'm just trying to figure out why it's moving around.
I was trying to get it on Bill because Bill was showing the mic, and I was trying to pull it up there. So
and on the and D on the RW2, it's flexible like this too. So you go up or down.
Get it positioned right for you.
Yep.
Nice. It doesn't have any springs or anything like that. The material is very malleable.
Yeah, it's malleable material, exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's see. There was
another Mark Ely made a comment, said he can't buy it. We're at a trade war. I think everything
again?
Buying, right. He said he can't buy it because we're at a trade war. But unfortunately, every piece of electronics that you guys are talking on or watching, they're all involved into a trade war right now.
Everything.
Well, as Kurt mentioned, all of our inventory is pre-tariff. So we're at $79 and $99, and if you take advantage of the special today, you'll get $25 off of either one of those. So the 99 will be $74.99. The $79.99 will be $59.99. Has nothing. These are not impacted by tariff.
We're consumers, right? Go ahead. I'm sorry, D.
I'm just gonna put this out here real quick. We got a tariff war going on. Everybody else is raising prices on pre and post products, and these guys are still giving you a 25% off, man. How better can that? How better of a deal can we get from there?
We're trying to
Our
get
goal-
product in people's hands. Yeah. And I think that just think about this one thing, and I'm not an expert on tariffs, or I know as much as everybody else knows and what we've seen. I don't know anything more, but I will say that if you think about everything that we do, everything we touch, everything we have, sometimes it's even the cans that your vegetables are in your house have come from outside of the United States, and then they're filled here with beans and corn and everything else. And so until you look at deeply and see everything that's been touched outside of the United States and brought in, yeah, certainly there are things that are built here and done here. And if we could do it today, we would. It's a really challenging proposition, not only from workforce costs to just even like auto manufacturers. Now their challenge is, hey, I'm a Ford, I'm built in the United States. Well, a lot of the parts that they get do come from overseas, from China, from other places. So they're still going to get tariffed on the parts to make the US built automobile. So that's the challenge for everyone. Again, not an expert at all in it, very, very understand it on the surface. We're just going to try to do our best to minimize the impact as it relates to our customers.
Right.
So I'm gonna go into
major.
I want to go into something on this, what you just said with Ford Motor Company, and we talked about this before we went on live. I worked for Ford for several years, and a lot of people don't understand this. When something is manufactured, it comes from thousands of different places. Like, for instance, with Ford, the audio systems, majority in my time period came from Sony. Everything that had to do with speakers, audio, any type of, electronics, sometimes I'm trying to think, the seats came from Lear, which is another manufacturer. So all this stuff is shipped to the Ford assembly plant and it's put together. And that's kind of how that stuff works. Nothing is really ever made. The only thing that Ford ever really made was the body panels. And again, even though they made the body panels, they were stamped at Ford Motor Company, but the steel came from somewhere else. Everything comes from somewhere else. Ford doesn't make anything other than just the stamping.
I think a lot of people don't understand that China especially produces a lot of raw materials.
Yeah. China's producing a lot of stuff.
The aluminum for your for your favorite beer is made from aluminum that's made in that is sourced from China. I mean, there's other countries as well that produce raw materials, but not at the level that China does. So
it's all about the supply. It's all about the supply chain, right? All the components within that get to the ultimate product. Right. I'm sorry.
I got 3 questions here for you guys that somebody popped up. Midlife Trucker wants to know if you guys consider going to the Shark Tank.
I was just going to talk about Tom Bell here. So if you would have talked to Kurt and I a year ago, 18 months ago, again, keep in mind, we just had this concept that we felt that if we could deliver a quality product that worked well in this price range, we could have a win. And we understood, what the numbers were in that price range. So, hey, we looked at, funding this ourselves. Fortunately, Kurt's with a TWT Audio, and again, I'm sure he can talk more about it, but this is a quality company, sold over 5 million headsets in the education space in the last 10 years. I mean, this is a formidable company that knows about premium audio. They felt, after they looked at the ideas that we had, that, hey, here's the space, entry level, quality product at value price point in this category. So these guys went and visited every truck stop out there. They bought every product that was available. They took it back to their sound lab. And not only did they see this as a way to expand their portfolio and get in an area that they hadn't been previously, they felt they could do it better. They could make it more comfortable. They could make it sound better. They could give better battery life, talk time. They could bring a new technology in ambient noise cancellation. And they could deliver 100 foot of range. So Shark Tank might have been an option, but we've got our Shark Tank. We love these guys at TWT, and they do a great job. So great suggestion, but we have the right partners.
And I'll just say the truth about TWT too is it's the same as us. They share the same value. It's a small company, but well positioned people who just really are trying. We're trying to do the very best. We have the same in any other business is the same idea. How do we just do something better than what's out there? When I first went to that company, I said, are we over engineering products for education? Some of these kids, do they really need to hear? Does the audio need to be that good? And they said, that's the only way we can build them the very best we can. And that's what's important. And so that's what really got me and had me excited was just you don't have to, it doesn't have to be overpriced. It can be, there is quality audio out there for an affordable price for everyone. So,
right.
So
And
for
so
Rig
here's
Pig,
the-
waterproof, dustproof, Rig Pig, yes. IP54 for water and dust ingress. Yes, sir.
okay.
So Jonah, just to give you a heads up, you go to roadwarrioraudio.com, put in my RW Fly Rabbit discount code, and you get 25% off. That's how you can get one. They got two models, one at $79.99 and the other one at $99.99. Correct, guys?
that's
less
correct.
less than 25%. Yes.
So I got another thing I want to do here, right?
Send
as
us
you guys-
some chicken. Send us some of those wings.
So you don't want these little things, man. So Bill and Kurt are currently using their products right now.
Absolutely.
Right? And we can hear how the audio is. James is using a Blue Parrot. If I'm not mistaken, that's what he said
That's
earlier.
right.
All right. Chat, I want to know, put it in the comment section, who sounds better?
Who wore it better?
Mhm.
Who sounds better?
Here we go.
And James, if you don't mind me, what is the price of that Blue Parrot when you had purchased it?
Oh God, that's a good question. I've had this thing for years. This thing's probably 3 or 4 years old. It was probably near $200. You know, 179, 189, something like that. Yeah.
Is that what they're still going for nowadays? The
They
same model
haven't
that-
lowered their price and they haven't raised their price. It's pretty much the same it's been for the last, well, because of COVID, nothing's
Mhm.
really went up in that kind of market that I'm aware of.
And well, I would like to go on. They make great products. We were a part of that for a long time. They do it. We just felt like we could do it differently and have a little bit of a different focus than what they do. So it's like in anything, good competition makes everybody better. It delivers better
Absolutely.
product to the consumer, right? So if we're all hustling to try to do something better, the driver is going to be the winner in this case.
So Tom
Yeah.
Bell's got a good question here.
It's
Here's
an
the technical
excellent
question. Can it be used while charging? And that answer is absolutely yes. I use it while I'm driving down the road and charging if need to be.
So you can talk on it while it's charging?
Yes, sir. Am I wrong, guys? I mean, I've used it. It works.
You're not wrong.
That's
I
what
think
I'm
it's, you need, if you, depending on how you're connecting, you need to be careful because you're connected to something and you have a cable and things like that. But one thing I wanted to mention too is we have a battery light indicator on the device. So the power button, which will be red when it's charging, but it's also when it's fully charged, it'll be blue.
Mhm.
And that'll show you from 50 to 100%. It'll go green when it's at 10 to 50%. So you know you're getting down there. And then when it's red, you have less than 10%. And then it'll be red while it's charging until it's fully charged. Then it'll be back to blue. So you do have some indication on the device itself to know where you are from a battery perspective.
What's the battery size and the runtime and the charge time?
Yeah, the talk time is 30 hours of talk time on both devices. And charging time can be a couple hours to get it fully charged. And we've had really great feedback so far on people just as far as saying, hey, I've been able to use this for a couple of days. You know, it's exceeding my goal as far as what I'm trying to do, knowing how much you guys use it and how consistently you're on it. We've just gotten such good feedback. It was interesting, even at Matt's, people would buy on the first day. They'd come back the next day and say, "Oh my gosh, this is so great! I've been doing TikToks around the show. I was out in the parking lot last night in my camper, and I was doing this and that and everything else, and I've used it all day, all night. I used it the next morning. I didn't have to charge it yet." So that live direct feedback was so great to hear. So that's why it was so beneficial, just being in front of everyone at that show. We really enjoyed it.
So, Mr. Green, we expect we should be in one of the three by the end of this month, and then the other two during the summer. We're having really great conversations with Love's Pilot and TA, and our goal is to get in all of those, of course, as well as all the independents.
Yeah, sharing some very.
Said that it was going on Amazon too, correct?
It will be. We have an Amazon store, a Road Warrior store on Amazon. Our website, roadwarrioraudio.com, can be purchased there. And then it also, I think when you do see it in store, it's gonna stand out compared to what's out there. This red packaging, everybody loves it. All the retailers have said, "Wow, it's so great," just because it's different than what we have. It's not white. It's not this. It's such a pop for us, and it'll be good for us because people will recognize and then say, "Oh, I know that. I recognize the red in the Road Warrior brand." So,
and incredibly easy to use.
Yeah, and red is a really attractive color. So as soon as you walk in, because it's a sea of blue and white when you walk into the truck stops. If I can remember what these boxes for these headsets are, and bam, right in your face, there's a big old red box with a headset in there. You're gonna be a little bit more intrigued. So it's pretty cool like that. Midlife right here says that you have a mark of a professionalism because you didn't want to down on Blue Parrot. And
thanks, Midlife. Thanks, Tom.
Great company. Mm-hmm. It's a great company.
To add to that too, red is the color of power too. They always say if you want to dominate a room, you wear a red tie. That's one of the things that, not getting into a political standpoint, but that's one of the reasons why Mr. Trump wears a red tie all the time.
You can wear a red dress. I mean, not you, but the lady can wear a red dress.
Diaries, buddy.
She wants to stand out in the ball. She's gonna come in with that ruby red dress, looking all, So yeah, red is a pretty good color.
Yeah. So we hope that everybody out there likes the products and that they buy them, and most importantly, we hope that they work really well for you. That you be able to do your job better, have more fun when you're on your downtime. Talk to your families and really enjoy the products. That will allow us to go, and expand our portfolio and have more and more products. But we're not doing it for the short term. Our goal is to be in the space, to grow in the space, and to just continue to deliver more. The one thing that Bill and I said as we talked to the design team here and the people that are working in our small company was, we have to be able to deliver features. If we're going to change our price, if we're going to move and we're going to go up and there's something else, it's got to be something that they haven't seen. It's got to be something new. It's got to be something that's really different. And that's how we want to do this. So there are, we've talked about versions that we can do in the future. We want to be really successful out of the gate with RW1, RW2, and then see where it goes from there.
Absolutely. Yep. So now we've talked about the product. We got a little bit into a brief history of you guys. But one thing we haven't talked about, which is very, very important, is customer service. Now, not everything is always 100%. We wish everything that we buy came out the box working great, don't have no problems at all. But every so often there may be that one or two product that's just, not working.
Sure.
Give me a brief example, or give me something. Well, not me, but give the audience what kind of customer service can they expect.
So the product in the box, 1 year warranty. And Kurt, can you explain how that we have a customer service, probably online and an 800 number?
Yep, we have customer service to support it. And I think one of the most critical pieces of starting a brand and being out there is having good customer service. We want the feedback. We understand that you may have a problem or an understanding of how you might need help. For one, how does this work? What do I need to do? Maybe the product isn't working for you specifically with your device. We really want to be there. We want to back it up. And so we have customer service support available, a team that can help. You can absolutely, reach out. Our phone numbers here scrolling across the bottom. And also we have a spot on roadwarrioraudio.com where you can if you have a comment or a concern there, we will get back to you right away. Maybe it'll even be Bill and I reaching back out to you, but somebody from our team absolutely will get back to you, because understanding how critical this device is to your job every day, we will not let that sit. We will follow up with you, and we'll make sure that you're taken care of. So that's absolutely critical to us.
I see a question there's a question here from Ollie Cat.
Yep.
Yeah.
James
so
got
volume
it.
go higher than my Blue Parrot 350. So let me tell you guys, the volume on the headset, like I said, once you raise the volume on the headset, it is louder than what the Blue Parrot is. And I can validate that because I've got both. The audio quality and the hearing on it is so much better compared to the Blue Parrot.
Yeah. And that's, volume is subjective, right? And it's regulated by the FCC. But anecdotally, all the feedback we have, and thanks, James, was that they could definitely, that the people that were trying the devices definitely could hear better than other headsets, not specific to Blue Parrot, but just headsets in general, that the sound experience was much more favorable.
All right, so Midlife said something here. Hang on, buddy.
Oh, my bad. You go ahead.
Midlife says, I need another headset like Custer needs more Indians.
Well,
but I'm inspired or tempted.
At this price point, Tom, try it out. You won't be disappointed. I mean, the sound quality is amazing. It's comfortable. The ambient noise cancellation is best in class. And again, they're under $100. You won't be disappointed.
Well, the way James is talking about it sounds like they're a cut above their class here.
Personally, I think they are. I think the thing that really kicked me more than anything, and again, this was a truck show special. You guys are okay with me talking about it, right?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. So when I first met Kurt, and again, it's just another headset. So I walked up and I got to looking at it. I'm like, man, this thing's pretty comfortable. I said, wow, it's light. And then he told me the price point. He said the one is $99.99 and the two is $79.99. Did I get the numbers right?
Other way.
Other way around. Okay. So, and I said, okay, well, let me see the $79.99. I looked at it and I'm like, okay, wow, that's pretty interesting. I said, he also said, if you got an old headset you'd like to trade in, we'll give you 50% off. And me thinking $40 for a headset, you can't beat that. So I went out to the truck. And I think I came the next day, if I'm not mistaken. I came the next day and traded in.
You came back.
I came back and I said, hey, I want that headset. And I did. And I've liked it ever since, guys. I mean, $40 for a headset, you can't beat that. And 25% off, I mean, you still can't beat that either.
That was
jump on top of them.
So our goal is
the show. That was really exciting. We were trying to see if people wanted, at the point of being at the show, said, hey, you know what, you guys know, you've taped yours together, you've kept them alive through, thick and thin, because you need to have it. So we had some pretty beat up units get turned in, but it was still fun for us to see, what people said. Hey, I'm ready to ditch this one and try something else. But even at this special, the RW Fly Rabbit discount code, 25% off, the 99 product is $75. That's the special. That's the price after 25% off. And the RW1 will be at $60. So those are both, really great deals. As Dee said earlier, even in this time of rising prices, we still feel like this is important for us to be on a show like this, to be invited by James and Dee to be on here, and then to also be able to say, thanks everybody for coming on. We want to do something special with the pricing here. And the good news is, it hasn't launched at retail yet. They might not want us to do such aggressive specials, but we got time now to do that for the next couple of weeks. This will run. And so go on roadwarrioraudio.com and check it out.
Yeah. So if you guys, for anyone that met us at the show, I mean, James, we talked about it earlier before the show, that was our press release day, right? That's when we announced that Road Warrior was going to be in the business. So our responsibility to our retail partners is to get as many people familiar with our brand, asking for our brand. So they're looking for it when they go into a retail store, preferably one of the, one of the major retailers in the travel space or any of the independents. We don't want a customer to walk in and say, wow, that's a brand I'm not familiar with. We know we'll have some of that, right? And we'll have to tell the story of, Dee, the same questions you ask. Why do you think that headset's better than anything that's out there? And again, we could talk for hours about why we think it's the best headset available in that sub 100. And we're seeing really favorable comparisons to headsets that are more expensive than that. But our goal at Matt's and our goal with talking to great guys like you are to get as many people aware of this new brand and, to give us a try and, let us know and let people know how you feel that it performs. We think, based on what Kurt and I have experienced over the last 90 days, now that we have the final product and we've been using it every day, man, I've got no concern at all with everybody being as delighted as we were. This is a quality headset.
Speaking of being delighted, because James only told half that story, right? I got a phone call and he was like, I said, what's going on, James? He said, buddy, you got to try this headset. Okay. It's the best dang thing that and he was talking about the prices. He was talking about the discount. It was like, how many old headsets you got? I said, I don't have any old headsets. I just bought the Rand McNally not even that while ago, and currently right now it doesn't work because the charge port broke. So I'm literally without a headset. So but yeah, he was sitting there like, buddy, man, you got to try this. You got to come over this booth. I was what was I doing at the time? I was in the middle of a break during my because I think Landstar we had stuff going on all day. Over at the Landstar area. So yeah, I didn't even get to check the show out until like late in the afternoon on both day for the 2 days that I was there. But
hey, speaking of Landstar,
he called me all excited about it. So let
me read these comments. So you got two customers. It looks like Newman Attack is going to go ahead and give one a try. And
wonderful.
Country said that he put one in his cart and he's going to show some love. He wanted the code. And the thing that I wanted to say, so you got two of them there. The thing that I wanted to go over more than anything, guys, and you said the charging port was broke on yours, Dee. So listen to this, buddy. One of the neatest things about this headset, guess what? It's a compact C charger. I've never had a headset.
USB-C.
Never had a, excuse me. Yeah, it is USB-C. I've never had a headset that had the USB-C charger. That is miles over, because if anybody knows those older style, it was what was it before? The
USB.
micro
USB.
Micro and mini. But anyway,
mini and micro.
The mini and micro.
They cause problems. Everything's going to the USB-C, and they took a step ahead. And I think you beat the competition out on that, if I'm not mistaken.
Code's right there on the bottom. Scrolling around country, you'll see the code pop up right there. Discount code 25% off.
Hey, Dee, and we'd love to talk to you if you've got some influence at Landstar. Kurt and I have some really exciting ideas and things we'd like to do with some of those fleets. We'd love to have programs with them as well.
Absolutely. I mean, a couple of Landstar drivers recognize me from watching the videos. No big deal, nothing like that. I'm not a celebrity or anything like that, but they recognize me. And I got a couple of YouTube buddies over here at Landstar too that would be a great opportunity. Put them on.
Yeah, we tell them we would love to talk with any of those fleets about special programs for them as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We do have a couple of comments here from earlier from the news article, and I just wanted to just get through those really, really quickly. In regards to the accident that happened at the rest area.
Can I answer Tom's question really quick?
Yeah, sure.
So Tom, I'm wearing the 2 because I prefer the over the ear, and for what it's worth, at Matt's, it was about.
It's just really a wearing preference.
Yeah,
It's just
it really
entirely
depended.
up to you on what we have. People that say I like it on my ear. I have my size in my ear for a variety of reasons. Whatever it is, it just really comes down to how people want to wear the device. I like both of them. I lean on all my headphones towards over the ear. I just like that feeling of having it all the way over my ear, some of the background isolation that you'll get here. But it's purely a wearing preference because we showed them to both people at the show. We had them sitting here, and one person would try this on and they'd say, "Oh, that's the best." Or they'd try that on. They go, "I like it, but I want that one." Or "I like it, but this one's better because it feels better to me. It fits my ear." So it's purely 100% a wearing preference, on ear or over the ear. And that's it. But I'm wearing the 2 also. But James has the 1. So
I am an over the ear type of guy too. As you can see with these right there, these are over the ear, so they cover 100%. And I do like the feeling better than having them stuck on or in the ear because my little wireless earbuds. There's another one as well too.
You got another customer here. Midlife Trucker said he's going to jump in and get one. Watch for a review on his channel.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah,
Country
great.
also said,
"Thanks, Country."
How it ain't. I could have reached out like most creators would do, but I can say instead, then I'll reach out after I like it.
I tell you
he's
what,
going to reach out to you too.
Thanks, man. Please do.
Midlife and Country, they both have YouTube channels as well too. They got quite a following. So, if they do a review on it, you're gonna see a little uptick in purchasing right there because they do have quite a few following of drivers that watch their shows as well too.
Wonderful. Awesome.
Yeah, and be sure to check out Country and KO show. It's always live Saturday night. And we always watch.
That might be an opportunity for you guys also to go on their show. I didn't even think about that. So I can put you in contact with those guys.
We'd be happy to. Anybody that would like it, we'd be honored and excited to do it. It'd be fun for us. So yeah, if someone else has a show, that'd be great. And we appreciate you guys. So thank you.
All right. So real quick, I'm gonna breeze through this real quick. Midlife Trucker said if a truck driver can't find safe legal parking in Effingham area, he isn't trying. There is a Petro or TA with a very large parking space in Effingham, in Effingham, and trust me, you'll show up at 3:00 in the morning. There's open parking space. I'll tell you that much already. Newman Attack says the bus driver falls asleep, but somehow it's always the truck driver's fault. Well, when we look at the situation as a whole, we got to ask ourselves: were these truck drivers parked legally and safely? Because the trucks that he did hit, they were parked in an illegal fashion. They were parked on the on-ramp heading into the rest area, and we know typically
and they had no
space.
parking signs there too to
right.
add to it.
And probably they didn't even at least have their marker lights on during the night to at least signal that there's something there. I mean, a white truck can only be so white at 3:00 in the morning when you're half asleep, Life of Chaos says truckers for sure are to blame. Brian Jess, he said, pull that up here. Illegally parked will get you hit, but the bus driver will take the bulk of the hit. Well, I don't know, man. The way things have been going on in our country the last couple of years, especially when there's a semi-truck involved in an incident, there's always usually be the bus driver that's always. I'm sorry, the truck driver that's always at fault because they do expect us to be a professional. That's why they call us professional truck drivers.
Absolutely.
So I'm all caught up on that right there. Do we have any new comments in the section?
Yeah. I'm not reading any comments that aren't pertaining to the show. So Midlife Trucker says he ordered the RW2, said give him a couple weeks and he'll put a report out or a test on it.
Thank you,
I have
Tom.
another question for you guys as well. So if they're ordering from the web directly from the website, how long are they expecting for shipment to arrive?
We will get those turned around within a day or so, and then regular ground shipping. So I didn't know if I saw the one that said a couple of weeks. I don't know if that's just based on when they'll be home to get their shipment within the next couple of weeks, but we'll turn it around, and it should be basic ground shipping, like 5-6 days, I think, at the most,
Okay.
depending on where they are. So where they're asking it to be shipped. So it should be pretty quick.
Okay, good deal.
Yep.
So Newman Attack, you don't drive hard enough if you haven't experienced officially finding parking. It is not black and white issue. Okay. Thought that was anybody got any questions for these guys about the headset? I mean, I think we've got a good product here, guys. I try to bring you the best that I possibly can. I met these guys at the truck show. I saw value in their product. I actually bought one to kind of test and give it a whirl. I told these two guys I'd like to bring them on the show a couple weeks after the truck show, and that's pretty much how I did it. I gave it a couple weeks. I played with it, and I brought it aboard. I contacted Kurt. He called me back, and here we are, guys. I mean, I only bring people on that I think the product is of value.
Right.
Awesome.
And
Thank you.
we have another comment here. Country says, just an FYI, my order is going to Porter, Texas. Wink, wink.
Where's Porter? You know?
I have
I think
no
it's down
clue,
close to
probably
Houston, isn't it?
Houston area,
On
something
towards
like
Houston?
that. Yep. Let's see. And I think when Midlife was talking about a couple of weeks, of probably, give it some, after he orders it and it comes in, he'll give us some time, test it out, make a product review, and post it on his YouTube channel.
Perfect.
Be sure to check out Midlife Trucker's YouTube channel, guys. Go ahead and subscribe to his account as
We'll
well
do
too.
that.
Lance Calhoun makes an excellent point. He said, if you are not with Landstar, you can park anywhere because Landstar don't allow us to park on any on-ramps, off-ramps, or on the side of the road unless if it's an absolute dire emergency. They'll cancel your contract for that.
Wow.
So, yeah, the Landstar doesn't play with the parking situation. Best be able to park early, or you're gonna be out of luck. Because if you're caught, and trust me, there are some Landstar drivers that are out there. They will take a picture and send it to corporate, and that's one less driver to compete for freight. Let's see.
Self-policing.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yep, just north of Houston. So guess what?
Okay.
I'm gonna still end up buying the product anyways. You guys are gonna send me one. I still have to buy one, only for the fact of I can't walk into the house. I can't just wear one and be the only one in the house with one, man. The old lady, she's a driver as well too, and she gonna want one. If I got one, she gotta have one. So I'm definitely gonna go ahead and purchase one as
We
well.
appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
Brian Tess says no sitting duck for me, and just because I'm scared of getting hit in my sleep. Absolutely, I am the same way as well too. Don't want to park even inside the truck stop. I don't even want to park on the edges because people don't pay attention when they're driving around. They're just trying to get where they're trying to get to and go out. And we've seen the videos on YouTube over and over again. With somebody taking a sharp turn inside the truck stop, and boom, Bob's your uncle. Sorry, country, I got to steal that one. You'll have no bumper anymore. And we all know how much that stuff can cost upwards of $20,000 just to replace and make sure that the frame's not bent or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
No hurry. I have to play truck driver. Sleep on the road for 7 to 10 days, says Midlife Trucker. So he's in no hurry to get it. But he usually goes out 7 to 10 days, and when he goes home, he'll pick up his headset.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
And Brian Jess, start early, stop early, pick in the corner.
park in the corner.
Parking corner, excuse me.
Absolutely. So I do have one more article I want to get through here with you.
You guys cool with staying on, or you guys need to cut off?
I'm okay. I can stay on just in case there's a couple more questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's listen to the article.
While
go
I'm
to the
going
newsman.
through the news article, guys, go ahead and put your questions and your comments about the product in the chat. Okay, let's see. Hit this button. Well, I gotta pull it up first. So just the other day, we have had a terrible accident that happened on I-59, and it did involve with one person did lose their life. So I'm sorry to hear. Prayers to the family, and I hope they can find comfort and justice, depending on what the whole situation is. So I-59 southbound back open after a fatal accident involving two 18-wheelers. 6 hours.
Oh man.
That too. So 6 hours after the initial accident, I-59 is finally open for travel again. Only the left lane is open at the time. And this was yesterday, or day before yesterday. Lamar County Coroner Blake Mathern confirmed that one woman died in the crash on I-59 that was involved two 18-wheelers on Friday morning. Next of kin was notified before the name was released. Mathern identified the victim Friday afternoon as Unique Lee of 38 of Las Vegas, Nevada. Lee was a passenger in the tractor trailer while with the white cab. Mathern said the crash caused significant traffic delays, putting I-59 southbound at a standstill. The accident was cleared around 4 p.m. Yeah, rain dogs in it. And I'm trying to see who is that Morgan Express? According to the comments on Facebook, Morgan was parked off on the side of the road when rain dogs had it was either they veered over and hit them, or Morgan was trying to get back over into the main road.
There's no damage to the front of the red truck at all. See that?
Yeah. So some people are claiming that the red truck themselves didn't get up to proper speed, 20, 30, 40 miles an hour before merging on into traffic, which ultimately caused this right here. So, I'm very sorry to the young lady that unfortunately lost her life. And crazy stuff happens, man. It's just another example of how dangerous this profession really is for us.
So you brought that up, and I'm going to bring up on Friday a little bit closer to home. And when I say home, it was literally about a mile from my house. I-95 at the exit where I get off to go home. There was a semi truck that hit two surveyors, killed them instantly. And the gentleman left the scene of the accident and drove another 120 miles down the road and got stopped by Florida Highway Patrol in Fort Lauderdale. And it hasn't actually came out yet to say, but the gentleman looked like he was an illegal driver with the name that he had. And of course, it was always the white truck, like we always talk about. Again, I'm not saying he was illegal or not illegal, but the unfortunate thing is two surveyors lost their life and they were plowed completely over. And they've got video of it, everything. They got testimony for some of the other drivers that were around. And it's just a very, very sad thing. And it's happening a lot every day.
It's a cold world we're living in, man. I'm telling you. We got to be careful out here on the road, especially us truck drivers. That's why they call us the professionals,
Midlife said he's going to do a review on TikTok too on the headset.
Yeah, Midlife has a pretty large TikTok following, and he does videos with, I wouldn't necessarily call them reviews, but overviews of different truck stops. some of his videos, they show like, the parking, how many parking they have, the location, and maybe what kind of restaurants and stuff like. But the way he does it, it's pretty neat. You guys if you guys have TikTok, just take a look.
He's got a pretty high
Look
dollar
forward to
drone
it.
that he does all this with.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a pretty cool drone. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does have a pretty cool drone there. So, let's see. So, is there anything else that you would like to?
You guys remember the company a couple years ago that had an app for parking and everything? Kurt, they were 120, I think they were called. Did you guys remember them? 120.
No,
I think they were out of
never paying for
Minneapolis.
parking, so I was never worried about trying to pay for parking because I just thought that.
I do. I'm in talks with another one of those truck parking places. I don't want to go into a whole lot of details with it, but I'm in talks with one of them right now about bringing those guys on the show because I actually used their service 2 weekends ago, and I was very happy with how that worked out. And I'm like D. I'm the type of guy where I don't like to pay for parking, but unfortunately, there's times when you have to, and times when I go home, I don't have a lot of options and choices to park at. I know he's got a place where he can go and park at all the time. I do not where I live at. And sometimes if I go home with a trailer, unfortunately, I've got to pay to park. And it's just one of those things that I've come to live with.
I'm in the camp of truck drivers shouldn't be paying for parking, but it's whatever. Private property, they can do whatever they want. But I'm a firm believer in I should be able to park, not anywhere, but at least have some reasonable spots to park at. It's already a big thing with the trucking industry that there's a shortage of parking, not truckers, but shortage of parking. Because if there were a shortage of truckers, we wouldn't have a shortage of parking. But anyways, I just think that truck drivers shouldn't pay for parking. But then again, that's just me. So,
anything else, guys? You all want to touch base on?
Yeah,
I just appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys and your audience, and would love anybody that wants to give us a try and love to hear about their experience with the device. And look for us this summer in travel center stores.
Yeah, and if you go on roadwarrioraudio.com, make a purchase, or even if you just want to make a comment, there's a place there where you can send us a message back. Ask for one of us if you'd like to have one of us call you back or talk through anything with you. Ask for Bill or I, and we'll absolutely reach back out to you and talk through anything, whether it's just more information about the product, some feedback if you're using the product, or anything. Just let us know. Like I said, I think it's more for us than just selling products to customers. This is about wanting to be part of this what you do every day and trying to make it better for you. Our website also has a convoy club, and if you can put in your info there, you could be registered. There will be news, deals, giveaways. We'll be doing things through the convoy club, which is just joining our team and being part of everything that we do. Hey, we're going to be here at this event or this show, come see us. We just keep you in the loop, and when we're running specials, we'll let you know, and there'll be different promos going on our website with, buy one, get something, apparel and different things. So we'll just keep you in the loop. So join the Convoy Club if you go on roadwarrioraudio.com. And we appreciate the time tonight, all the comments. It's been great for us. So thanks to James and to Dee for having us. And thanks everybody for listening to our story. We hope to see you for years.
Yeah, that feedback that Kurt talked about, guys, everything in these headsets was built in and considered driver feedback. So we've incorporated all of that into the final design. And this is going to be a work in process going forward too. If James, that's why we love your comment earlier. I still want to look into that to your volume point, because Kurt, I'm not sure that's the expected operation of that volume button. So let's get back to James.
I bet you it is, because if it's a setting on there, it probably that way in case somebody picks up the headset that maybe hears better than I do. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why it's set that way.
I don't think it should.
Neutral.
I don't think it should revert to a lower volume. But
Okay.
let us get back to you on that.
The beauty, James, is our designer. We can talk to him anytime, and we'll talk through it. And he's part of it. You might have met Mark. He was at the show talking to customers and things. So just telling him why he built things the way he did and how he used the feedback that we got. So yeah, we'll absolutely talk about it. We'll get back to you. And if any other questions come through, if you don't mind, let me know and let us know, and we'll follow up either with you so you can let people know, and or like I said, people can reach us on roadwarrioraudio.com. Also, be happy to call anybody back.
Hey, and for anyone that's going to be in Texas, we're going to be at the Texas Truck Show, June 20th, 21st, I think it is, Kurt.
Yeah, down in Houston. Yep.
In Houston, yeah.
Yep.
We'll have
if you're in the Midwest,
come and
we'll
say
be at
hi to
Iowa
us
80.
there.
Yep.
At Iowa 80, right.
We'll be at both of those in the summer.
Do you guys have truckers in your family as well too?
My father was a truck driver. Matter of fact, at Matt's, I met a guy whose brother worked with my father in the 60s in Chicago. I mean, talk about a small world.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Never wanted to become a truck driver?
That's a great question. As hard as my dad worked, I think what he taught me is get an education. Go get a degree and see if there are other things you could do without, breaking your back. Because man, I appreciate what you guys do. It's hard work. It's hard work.
So I wanted to give you guys permission too, because we ran into this last week. When I had Austin from the International dealership on last week, he actually called me a couple days later and wanted to know if he could use any of this footage. And I'm giving you guys permission. You can use whatever you guys need to promote this, put it on your website, whatever you guys need to do. You have total permission to use anything you all need.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And if there's anything we can do for you, let us know, and we'll follow up. But we do really, truly, sincerely appreciate the opportunity tonight. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Not a problem, guys.
Okay.
Not a problem, guys.
All right. Have a great
day, everybody.
Thanks again.
Yeah,
all right.
Be safe out there.
All right.
All right, man. You guys have a good one, man. Road Warrior Audio has been in the building tonight. They came, talked about the product, and they showed us what it can and can't do. James has been using their products for the last month or two. How long has it been since? Yeah,
about a month and a half.
Yeah, and he's had quite a success with it. He likes it very much. It's daily driver. So if you guys are interested, the website is at roadwarrioraudio.com. Use the discount code RW Fly Rabbit for 25% off of either the RW1 or the RW2. The items will be in store this summer at the major truck stops. So be on the lookout for those as well too when it gets there.
Hey guys, anybody have any comments? Any last comments? I think we pretty much skimmed through all of them. We might have missed a few comments if they weren't related to the show, but we put up pretty much everything. You had some good news articles tonight. It kind of goes with our concept that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, and these accidents. It's funny because I got a friend of mine that I go see in Louisville every time I go through, and he always texts me and says, hey, your friends have caused this accident. Your friends have caused this accident. So you've been through Louisville, and on the expressway, they call it Hospital Curve. As soon as you go over the bridge into Louisville, there's that real sharp turn, and they've got the signs posted saying 45 miles an hour or 40. Well, that's called Hospital Curve. Anybody that lives in that area knows that.
Miles an hour doing that.
I'm sorry?
Area anyway, I said nobody ever does 45 going through there. That's why.
Well, if you're driving a truck, you have to, because if not, you're going to flip your truck over. And there's signs everywhere that says that. Well, needless to say, there's been 2 accidents, both trucks that have flipped over in the last 36 hours. And it's just becoming more and more and more. And also, there's a Facebook page called the Louisville Can Opener. Well, there's a bridge. It's actually a railroad train bridge. And on the right of that bridge, they used to build Model T Fords at the Ford factory. Just a little history. But anyway, that bridge is 11. I believe it's 11.6. And every single day, and I mean at least 3 or 4 times a week, it takes the truck out because they don't read their signs. They don't read the signs, and the GPS surely takes you through there. The Garmin does all the
You
time.
sure they don't read it, or they just can't read it?
Buddy, they follow their GPS. They might not be able to read it, but they just follow their GPS. GPS will take you that way. But unfortunately, that bridge has been there since the turn of the century, buddy, 1900s. And because it's a train bridge, and trucks still continue to go through there. Go to the Facebook page, the Louisville Can Opener, and you'll see postings about 3 or 4 times a week where a truck has tried to went in under it, or a Hertz truck, Penske, one of those trucks, semi trucks, everything you can imagine. Let's get some of these comments here. They seem like genuine guys. You know what? They are. That's what really attracted to me, these guys, because I really thought that they had a great product, and they were very sincere, and they also had credibility. They came from the Blue Parrot company that you heard everything, Motorola, Blue Parrot. You can't get much bigger than that when it comes to communication equipment.
Cellular
Radio
one.
Shack. Yeah,
So
you can't get
have
any,
a lot of
much more
experience,
credibility than that. And they have a lot of experience, and that's what drew me to those guys. And I said, you know what? I'm at that price point. I'm going to buy one of your headsets and try it out and bring you on the show. Mark Early says, anyone grossing 10,000 weekly? I haven't seen. I don't think I've ever seen $10,000 a week since I've been doing this.
Since you've been driving trucks?
Yeah, since I've been driving trucks. Yeah.
I've seen 10K a week before, but
I
was driving somebody. It was at Landstar 4 years ago. I was seeing 10K consistently.
Well, that
was driving for somebody, but
yeah, COVID area, right after COVID and stuff.
Yeah, right after COVID.
Yeah, that's the last time I've ever seen or heard anybody doing $10,000 a week. I don't think anybody is.
I mean, I made 9K at the Russians, but I ain't take home a lot out of that. So.
Mark said he had one 2 weeks ago. Well, good for you, buddy. I don't think it's something that's a consistent thing. You might have just hit all the rainbows the proper way and everything aligned up right. But I don't see that being a consistent thing with anybody right now.
I think the normal is around 5 to 7.
Yeah, 5 to 7
is what the market's looking at right now. I'm having a 7K week this week, so.
And Mark, don't take it the wrong way. If you're consistently doing 10K a week, more power to you, buddy. You might want to lead us all into where it's at. Let's see what he says. No, my average is 75, 67. So yeah, you're right, just a little bit above average of what we were talking about. Brian Jess says that he's at 6,000 to 7,000 lately. Yeah, that's probably a good number. And Brian, you even go home quite a bit too. I know you do about 10 days out or so, and I know you go home quite a bit too.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I haven't seen a $6,000 week in several weeks. My problem is, and that's one of the things that I'm going to do a video about real soon. My problem is at the company that I'm at, they charge for everything. And that's one of the things that I'm figuring out. And again, it's all a learning experience. And D happens to be at a good place. He's happy. I'm not happy because they do take out way too much money. They take out a trailer fee, 25%. It just seems like everywhere you look around, something comes out. And that just takes down
after all your fees
line.
and stuff, were you down to like 50-50 or something? Is what it seems.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't even sat down and figured that out, man. But I just know my number. Well, let me put it this way to you. With the spot market the way it is and the rates and everything that they take out here, I'm literally, dude, I'm making the exact same amount of money as what I did when I had an SFI truck. If I had an SFI truck here still, I would be bankrupt now. Completely bankrupt.
Should have came over here when you had the opportunity to come to Landstar.
Landstar's not it. Landstar's not it, brother. I am at DB Schenker USA Truckload. Wow,
he's with the Germans. He's with the Germans. Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
So you're running off. So you're actually, as a contractor there, you're not running their freight. You're running as a contractor with using their DOT numbers, right, Mark? Because I had a friend that was over there, and he about went bankrupt over there. And I worked over there 3 years ago, and it about bankrupted me 3 years ago.
Hey, you know what I want? I got something I want to talk to you about.
So Mark says correct. Go ahead.
So the So our president in chief, Donald Trump, has decided to not only, well, let me back it up. Arkansas started this, right? Arkansas was like, we're going to implement this law, English only. Oklahoma joined into the team, and then our president Donald Trump decided to pull a hold my beer moment and said, "Nah, I'm gonna make this mandatory, and we're going to go ahead and enforce a law." A lot of people have been crying racism, right? They was like, "Oh, it's a racist law. It's racist. It's racist. Donald Trump's racist." Well, a lot of people don't understand that this law has been around just as long as Donald Trump has been alive. I think the law is 1 year older than him. So it's not like he came up with this idea that you're only allowed to speak English in order to have a CDL. I know me and you have had conversations about this in the past, and I came down to the general consensus is that in order to operate on the interstate, I think it's a no-brainer that you should be able to speak, right, and understand the English language, because you live in a country that is majority English. The official language of the country is officially English now in 2025, because Donald Trump made that law. And it's my biggest concern is safety for you and everybody else around you. If you can't read the sign, you can't understand what's going on. I mean, look at what the situation that happened in Texas. Guy come barreling into a construction zone and killing a whole family. Look at the situation that happened with Adriel, or I forgot what his name is. I did a report on it a couple of years ago, in Colorado, where he did not take any of the exit truck ramps and went all the way down to the end with no brakes, and he ended up kill killing a whole lot of people. And his biggest thing was, during his trial and everything, they needed a translator in order for him to understand what was going on in the courthouse. And that is my biggest concern in trucking right now is safety. If you can't read, you can't understand, you don't know what you're doing, how can you be a safe person on the road? A lot of people, I've seen a lot of videos actually where people are sitting here, this guy in Spanish, he says that he's been driving for 15 years and doesn't and never had an issue. And my question to that person is, if you've been in this country driving for the last 15 years, right, and you've had no issue, why haven't you learned how to speak the language yet? I mean, it's not like English is a hard language to learn, as opposed to learning Mandarin or Japanese or even Dutch or German. Those languages are a little bit more harder to learn. But English is pretty easy because, around the whole world, the secondary language is English to what everybody else is already speaking. What's your take on this?
So I'll tell you, the law has always been. It's been like that for years. In 2016, President Obama, this was the last year of his presidency, he ordered, law enforcement, Border Patrol, everybody to stop enforcing that law. And that's
Yes,
why
he
it's
did.
been that way. And again, Trump went through some little rough times during his first term, trying to find the right cabinet, the right people to put in. And just as well as I do, back then there really wasn't the accidents weren't as, at least I don't recall that the media was really reporting on it. There was just not a lot of known facts about the accidents back then. And then through the next term, which was Biden, of course, he didn't care about nothing. And now it's just becoming a point where people are making Trump aware of it. And by the way, the video that we put out a couple weeks back with DIY Semi, that video got to Trump. I don't know if you saw his video or not, but it actually got to Trump. And that's why all this stuff is going on right now. Did you know that?
No, I
And
did
we
not.
actually had a part of that. We put that video up with DIY. So somehow or another, that video got to the president, and that's why he's come out and said, "Hold my beer," basically. So
Pretty much.
yeah,
And
I
you know,
agree with you on all the languages and stuff. But one thing that you got to consider, is English language really that hard to learn? in
It's
another, if
not.
you're from another
Well,
country, well, listen to what I'm telling you.
yeah.
You're from another country, okay? And I know you can kind of confirm on this. I'm not from another country, but say you're a person from China or Japan and you need to learn the American language, which is English. How do you know it's not difficult for them to learn that? Now, and I'm not protecting them. All languages, I don't care which language it is, it's always difficult for a person to learn a different language. So I don't want you to underestimate that. That guy for 15 years, I agree with you. He should have learned the English language. That's plenty of time to learn the English language and drive here. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, like I was saying, there's okay. I may have overstepped by saying it might be a little bit easier, but from my understanding, especially from my bilingual friends and everybody else, that usually talk about, they usually say that English is easier to learn than any other language, pretty much. But I saved this video and I do want to go through it. I know we're past our little 2-hour mark that we usually go through, but I want you guys to watch this video with me and see how crazy this whole situation is when it comes to the English language here. While I get that prepared, you go ahead and run the comments, and I'm gonna get it set up when you're finished.
Mark Ely says, yes, he's at DB Shanker, USA Truckload. Brian Jess says, I've been out for 14 days, but I'm going on a cruise with my wife, so it's putting the time to shut it down for 2 weeks and keep all the bills paid, including my payroll. And Mark Ely says, correct. This is his 5th year. Newman attack, deport them all. Yeah, you're a Rambo there, buddy. You've always been that way, and I get it. Brian Jess, if you can't read the signs, you have no business in a commercial vehicle on the road. So let's focus on that a little bit. Once again, you're 100% right, Brian. But think about this a second. What about the people driving the 4-wheelers? They should have to be able to read and write. Anytime that anybody gets a driver's license, I mean, it shouldn't make a difference with just the commercial vehicles. It should also be regular driver's licenses too. That's something that was brought up on one of the last shows when we talked about this, and I read a comment, and I wish I could credit the person that brought that up, but that was never thought about. And I agree with that. It needs to be all drivers. So Mark Ely says, it's funny. I was in Quebec, got pulled over. She didn't speak English, but spoke Spanish. So we communicated in Spanish. That's interesting. Okay. And Gigolo, he says, I got a question. Why do a person have to speak English? Okay, well, there you go. There's your answer, because you can't write English. Because of the USA is an English-speaking country, but even more so because you need to read the damn warning signs on the roads. I agree there, Brian.
I guess the comments are going to tell him so. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I lived in Mexico. I learned Spanish in less than 1 year. Yeah, I think if you're somewhere for a year or two, you shouldn't have any problems reading the language. And Green Star Logistics says it is easier learning the English language. And I know he's Spanish. I think he's from, don't quote me on this, but I believe he's from Mexico. It's Jose. Go ahead with your video, buddy.
All right, just give me 1 second here, because let's see. I gotta fix my camera real quick. Oh my god. Hopefully I can get it to work.
Ooh, damn. I'm sorry, Green Star, Puerto Rico. You're from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, he's a U.S. citizen. So, and that's another question that I wanted to touch base on, because we do have citizens in this country. Puerto Ricans, they speak Spanish. I'm pretty sure going to school. Don't quote me on this, but they do teach them both English and Spanish as well too. But how would that work for? Is it just a is it just a foreigner thing, or is this just for everybody? If you don't know how to read or write in English, not only just be able to communicate, but can you read and write in English? Does this affect you as well too? You get what I'm saying?
Yep, I get what you're saying.
All right, so let me go ahead and pull this video up here. And I think you guys are gonna find this this one a little interesting how it all works out as well too. And remember, guys, you already know I don't pay for YouTube Premium, so there's that. Commercials come, it is what it is. But let me trying to fix this right here. So this is coming from a YouTube channel called I want y'all to see my watch later. I got stuff in there. Angela Rose, and the video is called "I Investigated Foreign Truck Driving Madness." So let's go ahead.
You know
and
what? I just started
right.
watching her, dude. You know what? I found her and I just started watching her. She puts out good stuff. You know what?
It was I don't know. This is the only video I've ever seen from her. It was just mad random out of nowhere. So I was like, let me just go ahead and watch it. And I kind of sort of found it a little bit entertaining as well too. But let's get into it.
Go ahead.
English isn't very good. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to all speak English. Gotta know how to read the signs, you know what I'm saying? Some of these immigrants, the governments are paying the bill for them. They're paying the fuel bill, they're buying them trucks, I think.
Came from a different country and lost his brakes and killed multiple people. There were plenty of signs for him to slow down. It could have been prevented.
There are 3.5 million people in our country that have chosen truck driving as their profession. It is an industry that contributes $386 billion.
$386 billion, man. How much of that slice of the pie y'all owner operators are making out of that, man? Put it in the chat. Let me know.
GDP to our country, and there's some huge changes coming to this industry. Donald Trump is signing an executive order making it so these truck drivers need to know how to speak English to improve communication with other truck drivers and Border Patrol, as well as other checkpoints, and make sure that they know what our street signs say. So in this video, I'm going to try to speak to these truck drivers and test their English skills. Please make sure that you are
subscribed. Anybody want to take a guess where this guy's from, and what kind of responses is he's gonna give her? He says he's in a hurry, but you're gonna see later on he wasn't really that much of in a hurry. So
where are you from? Bosnia. Yeah. Wow. And how long have you been living in the U.S.?
25 years.
35 years. You mean you got pretty good English, So
35.
Yeah, there's
25.
that.
25. And how long have you been a truck driver?
15 years.
15. What's your name?
Mohammed.
Mohammed, nice to meet you. Trump was signing an executive order that is going to make people prove their proficiency in English. What do you think about that?
Bullshit. That's the bullshit. All the
I just find it funny, right? With the bullshit count. It's bullshit. We don't want that. No. You can't do that for my brothers and my sisters from Europe. I want them to come in. They don't speak the English, and I need them to come and make the money for me too. I think it's funny. The bullshit is hilarious, dude.
He said all of.
Common sense says life should be spent searching for meaning, not
Give me a second here. Let me hit the
listen to your.
All of this stuff is BS. He's from Bosnia. What state are you from?
Texas.
What kind of stuff do you ship or truck?
Anything and everything, so long as it's not illegal.
That's cool. Trump administration, they just signed an executive order to make it so people have to be proficient in English.
Correct.
Yeah.
That would be wise.
What do you think about that?
No, I totally agree.
In your experience, is there a lot of people who haven't been speaking English correctly?
Most of them don't even speak English at all.
Really? What languages do they speak?
I would say probably Hindu or
Really?
down here.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's a few that are all like South American, I guess.
And so you think that'll be a safe and good change?
That needs to be. It's hard to operate out here. You can't read or speak it right. Well, I've been doing it for 13 years. I enjoy it. I got microwave and some dishes you can plug into a cigarette lighter and cook.
We thank you because it's such an important job.
The only way to keep America going.
So far, that last guy thinks that it's a really good idea to have these English tests for the safety of all people on the roads.
And like I was saying earlier, guys, my biggest concern with this whole trucking, it just boils down to safety, and to a certain extent, national security. on the interstate, because we're hauling all types of product, not just the general stuff. We're hauling food. Speaking of food, right? So I'm here at the TA. I PC to go get some stuff and came back, and then when I came back, I saw, like you said, one of the turban guys, the ones that be having the guy on the side of the truck and whatnot. He has a reefer. Now those guys, a lot of them do a lot of reefer loads, right? But I was just sitting here watching him when I pulled in, and he had the reefer door open, and he was in the back of the reefer doing God knows what. Now, last time I checked, when reefer loads, them things always have a seal on them. It's a safety thing. There should be no reason why a driver is in the middle of going through a load like that. But I guess maybe it was a reject load, but it was full trailer full of something, and I just found it strange that a reefer that was actively on and working, that somebody would that he was back in the back there. We got hazmat loads, we have dangerous loads. I even seen a load out here that had active radiation. Literally just driving down the highway, they had active radiation. They had the signs out and everything, stay away from the truck and whatnot. He pulled in to come get some fuel. So imagine if the wrong person gets their hands on that, a foreign adversary, they have somebody that come into a country and they get into one of these trucks and are hauling either food or hazardous material. Who's to say they couldn't poison the load, and it finally gets to the end user and a whole bunch of people are dying left and right. Or say there's a hazmat load and they start running into bridges, or I don't want to give anybody any ideas, but what if something like that actually happened? It's possible. It's not impossible.
How are you?
Well,
Brian, we all
Good.
know who I'm talking about.
How's the truck
the guy
doing?
on the side of the truck. We all know
I was
the
just
guy.
wondering what it's like being a trucker.
Sorry, my English isn't very good. I don't understand.
Oh, what's your name?
Well,
That's crazy. Here's an
Keep playing
example
that
of a
just to
guy
get-
he's trying
this-
to
this one gets good.
here she's trying to get into a conversation with a truck driver here that don't speak a lick of English, right? And so imagine if she was a DOT officer and she's over here trying to question and communicate with him. You're going to see how effective this communication is. Let's get into
Pavel?
yes.
How's your name? How do you say your name?
Last name.
No, just I didn't understand how you pronounce it.
My name is Pavel.
Pavel.
Paul in English.
Pavel.
In
Oh,
English
Paul.
in USA, Paul.
Paul. I see. Okay. And
it. Anybody want to guess where Paul's from? Rabbit, what you think? What do you
I don't
think
remember.
he's from?
I've seen this video, but I don't remember. I'm thinking he's from the same area, if I'm not mistaken, as the last guy.
That's the last
Bosnia.
guy.
Yeah.
Well, he is from the area, but but not exactly.
how do you like being a truck driver?
How much?
Is it good? Is it bad?
2 years.
2 years?
Sure.
That's cool. Is it easy or is it hard?
Middle.
Really? How is your communication with the other drivers?
Too little.
Yeah. Do you speak on the walkie-talkie?
If have problem, yes, I use translator.
Oh, okay.
But my work, truck, fuel, and another, it's every day. I know this.
Yeah. What kind of problems?
But another, where I need know many words, maybe
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. What country are you from?
Country,
Yeah.
Russia.
Oh, okay. How long have you been in the U.S.?
How many years in the USA?
Yeah.
2 years and a half.
Oh, okay.
Russian. He's in the country for 2 years. Russia's in an active war with another Baltic state, and we are technically, quote unquote, having a proxy war with them. And here you have a guy that came in. How long's the war been? Like 2-3 years now, and he's been here as a truck driver. How do we know that he's not he ain't a spy? I'm just saying. You know, I'm not thinking. I ain't trying to think all crazy. But how do you know that he's not a spy?
Okay. Are you able to read in English, or is it hard?
I have 3 levels.
Oh, okay.
In college.
I think spies know English. I'm just gonna say it. I think spies know English at least.
After testing,
Yeah.
I have 3 levels.
Do you live in your truck, or what state do you live in?
Live in?
Yeah, what state do you live in?
What sea?
Like what city do you live in? Do you live in Texas, California?
What state?
Yeah.
Sorry. State Washington.
Oh, wow. That's a long drive.
It isn't Denver. It isn't very long. Long is east, and New York, Washington D.C.
Oh, okay.
Texas.
Yeah.
Texas.
I see.
It's long. It isn't very long.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I won't say English. I won't say.
Yeah.
But when I not understand, translate work from English to Russian. I understand what I must speak English.
Driving so far across borders, do they stop you and say, "Where's your passport?" or stuff like that?
Passport, no. I haven't problem with inspection.
Oh, okay.
You talk about inspection?
Yeah.
Not. They asked me, do you have ID? Do you have work authorization? I haven't problem, but I know this problem maybe isn't good time. Another president, it's hard.
Because I just heard that now they're going to make people do a test for English. Do you think that you would pass the test, or that you'd have to study?
Do y'all think he would pass the test? You think he'll pass the test, James?
No, he'd be in the 20-30% range, if that.
Do you think he thinks he'll pass the test?
Oh, he's probably gonna say yes.
Study a little bit.
I need translate very many words.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Drive safe.
And have you good
My boy Steven's in the building, loving life, man. How you doing, brother? Good evening. If you need a translator,
I was just wondering if you heard about the new.
If you need a translator to do the test, you automatically fail. You should be able to understand you should be able to understand, read, and write
that's what the law
in
says.
English. You know,
that's what the law says. It doesn't say your translator needs to be able to do it. You need to be able to do it.
And I'm gonna go to this comment right here.
Well, let's
Gigolo
go back
Joe.
up before you do that. Let's go back to his first couple comments.
Okay.
Go ahead, read them. I want you to read all of his comments. Okay.
All right. So I respect y'all, but Trump really got y'all mind fucked up. Let's talk about the shortage in freight due to this small tariff idea. Like, are y'all serious? Well, Gigolo Joe, if I don't know how long you've been in this industry to understand this industry
for a while,
but freight's been okay. So, in actuality, freight has been the same since pre-pandemic levels. It's just been the same. What has not been the same is the capacity of trucks. Okay, we have way too many trucks for the amount of freight that we have. The freight level has, during the COVID level, it went up and it went right back, and it went right back to where it has always been. We just have way too many trucks. And when you have way too many trucks in the market, it is no longer a trucker's market. It's a broker's market. They finally get to dictate the rates on how much they're willing to spend, because there's always a truck driver out here that's going to take it for cheaper. And when you have more trucks, then you have more loads. That's why we're seeing everything the way that it is. Now, if the situation was flipped the other way around, where we had two to more loads per trucks, we wouldn't be having so much of a big problem. People wouldn't be talking about this quote unquote freight shortage. It's been the same. And when we're talking about the ports being empty and stuff like that, we still got products that are still made in this country being manufactured, built, and shipped all around this country. The port is not the only place where we get our products from. We make our own shit as well too. You know, we got farms where we get loads for farms. We got places where we get some sort of manufacturing. There's different places. The port isn't the only place where we get our stuff from. Okay. They said safety was worse because guys was running 3 logbooks, but now they have to use the ELD. They say that BS, but we're talking about language. We got to do better. You know how we do? Okay, so I was not in the era of the 3 logbooks. Okay, I came in. I've always known electronic logs from the get-go. From my experience, in my opinion, okay, the 14 hours sucks. Some people will say the 30-minute rule sucks, you know, because it's forcing you to take a break when you're not tired. I'm in the camp where if you get rid of the 14-hour break and just let me drive my truck and let me do what I do, we wouldn't have any problem. A lot of people in the camp were saying that the ELD forces them to do unsafe things, as to drive a little too fast or drive a little too because they need to get to a delivery in a certain time, and the load it's only so far that you can go get this load. It's different ways to go about this problem. Go about this. Everybody has their opinion about it. But like I said, my opinion is we should just get rid of the 14-hour clock.
You know, the damn clock was created by people that never even driven a truck. Okay, the ATA. It's been created by people that don't even drive a truck. My opinion, if they get rid of the 30-minute break and the 70-hour clock, I think a lot of our issues will be gone. The 70 is what I have a problem with. I think that's the BS thing. I don't, because all that does, if you run hard like what we do, and you say you get held up at a shipper receiver, you can only run 6 days. If we're out here, why are we required to do a 34-hour reset away from home? If we want to work and run, why do we have to do a 30, like what me and you are doing right now? Why is that a necessity? Because I'm still up. I'm still doing things. It's not like I'm forced to sleep. It's not like I'm forced to stay in a sleeper berth or in a cabin. Right. It's just, there's no reason in the 30-minute break, because, I mean, what do you do at your 30-minute break? All right, you stop and get a little lunch, or you just sit in your truck. You're not really resting. You're just stopping.
I'm still working during my 30-minute break.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not going to lie to you. Is that I'm fueling or I'm doing something?
Yeah.
You know?
The 70-hour rule is fucked up. And, you know, quite frankly, I agree with you on the 14 too, but I understand why the 14's there, because they don't want you to work more than 14 hours throughout a day. I get that. But unfortunately,
you're right.
We're fucked.
The 70 hours.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we're fucked at the shipper and receivers if they take 10 or 15 hours to load us and shit. But again, that resets your clock. But say you're stuck at a shipper for 5 hours. Well, guess what? You just lost 2 hours of your fucking driving time because of that.
And they say, use a split sleeper berth, but then even that is not even as convenient as it is sometimes, you know? And at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, Gigolo Joe, it's not whether or not we like Trump or don't like Trump. What boils down for me is freaking common sense. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to immigration, when it comes to these, when it comes to the economy, all that stuff is. I'm thinking at where we're at down here, because we're the one that's affected by it all the time. This whole situation with the ports being empty ain't stopped me from running. It ain't stop a thing. I'm still making my money. I'm still doing my thing. You know, I'm not sitting here. Oh, well, it's the middle of the week and I can't find freight. I'm booked up until next week, until Friday. You know, I've been booked up till Friday since Wednesday of last week. It's not stopping me from making money. This fear mongering that the other side likes to portray and get people to panic to do things. A lot of people are coming to their common sense and paying attention and looking and saying, what you're saying and what we're seeing is two different things. And a lot of people rather would like to believe what they see rather than what people are telling them.
Catch up with the comments, man. There's a couple more there from
Like I said, my boy Steven's in the building tonight, man. I'm gonna give you a call tomorrow, man, because you know I like checking on you, man. I like making sure that you're straight, brother. Brian just said, Gigolo Joe, I'm not seeing a freight shortage, and there will be even more freight for us Americans to haul very soon. Absolutely, because once you get rid of the people who are not supposed to have CDLs in the first place, you know, with all these extra trucks, like I said, we have an overcapacity of trucks. And I'm not, listen, I don't want the next man to lose his job. But at the same time, if he's here and it's withholding the rest of us who actually want to be here, because
he's taking money away from you.
He's taking them exactly. So might as well go ahead and, you know, finish your business now. He did get President Trump did give him a window of time to give him 90 days or 60 days or something like that. Mm-hmm. After 60 days, you go about your business. You know, you got plenty to go sell your truck, sell your company, do whatever you got to do now because your time is up. There's no more freeloading. There's no more dollar. There's no more $1.10 freight for you to be pulling all over the place because you're taking that money, you're taking it back home where it's cheaper for you to take care of your family. I ain't mad at you for doing it, but the time is up. There's no more time for that. Now it's back to, okay, now the people who live here, who take care of this country, the people who pay the taxes in this country can actually go ahead and start making some real money again. Brian just again said, Figaro Joe is just a Trump hater. Man, whether you want to be a Trump hater or not, man, use common sense at the end of the day. That's all I'm saying. Like, look, use common sense. And any American citizen that's not putting themselves as a citizen first before anybody else is a goddamn fool. 11 Live said, I'm good. Drivers hoping my truck gets done by tomorrow. Ready to roll. Hope you cats are good too. I'm cool. I'm fine, brother. I said I know you was up. I watched the live last night. You were talking about being stuck in a hotel like KO. KO been in the hotel all week as well too. He gotta go get his truck tomorrow. But you know, I think we were talking about trucks, about getting trucks and stuff and whatnot. And I told KO you should go get an International, which he is vehemently against because it doesn't have a Cummins in it. And I just had to ask him, I said, them last two Peterbilts, what kind of engine they have in them? Because them two same trucks are still in the shop.
Right.
Well, they're not in there for engine issues, but still, you know,
yeah.
like, you know.
I've had both. I've had Cummins and I've had the A26. The A26 outperforms the Cummins, in my opinion.
It comes from factory with more horsepower anyways. Not that that's a big matter in the grand scheme of things because we're all about torque over here. Right. But still, you know, the good little motor does its job. Yeah, I mean, it does its job. It gets it done. It's not flashy. It ain't in your face or anything. It's like, hey, do you need that load move from the East Coast to the West Coast? I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you for with a little less fuel. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Gigolo Joe there said, I've been in this industry since 96. That BS because my family's been doing this since the 80s. Well, good for you. Rates are the same now as it was in 96 when I started. Okay, well, what about the cost of living? Cost of living still the same as it was in 96? Everything else is still the same as it was in 96? I was just explaining that the rates today are still the same rates pre-pandemic. So if 96 is in there, I guess 96 is already in there. But what's different is that there are more trucks to load ratios, and that's the reason why rates are so low. You know, relatively speaking, the rates are so low because there's more trucks than there are loads, as opposed to being more loads than there are trucks. It's a broker's market. They get to dictate the rates. And until we start thinning the herd, and this is one way that the herd is getting thinned out, we're going to find ourselves in a very precarious situation where how long is it that we're going to have to sit here and still deal with this madness?
Executive order where truck drivers are going to have to take an English test?
No, but I hope they can.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have a hard time communicating with people sometimes? That's a nice truck.
Thank you.
Where are you from?
Nebraska.
Nice. And how's the drive?
Good.
Good.
Pretty windy today.
Sorry, so I was just wondering if, how's your experience communicating with the other truck drivers?
You don't communicate a whole lot anymore.
Oh, really? What's the difference or what changed?
Cell phones, probably. Nobody talks on CB anymore.
Because I heard that they're making a rule now.
Yeah, Lance Calhoun, with the when we were talking about the ELDs earlier, ELD equals speeding equals being unsafe. Because yes, let's be honest, we're always racing against the clock. That's what we do all day, every day. We're not. It's the first thing that we're doing. We're racing against the clock. Everything else is secondary. Being safe, actually getting on time. Maybe sometimes even fuel is not even on our mind because we're just trying to drop this load off so we can get the other one. 50 mile per hour minimum is crazy, my guy. I wouldn't do that. I couldn't do it. And David is in the chat, said, good evening, guys. Love your show. Well, appreciate you for coming in. Gigolo Joe back again saying, now you're talking because guess what? We can work in the warehouses for 10 hours a day for weeks on end, but we get fucked with that 70. And remember, I started driving with ag tags, so no CDLs. Yeah, like we were saying, like James was saying, we should get rid of the 70-hour rule, because it really doesn't do any good for us. I believe we just get rid of. Yeah, and I actually do agree with you more than that, than the 14-hour rule. Just get rid of the 70-hour rule. Keep the 14.
Yeah, get rid of the 30-minute break. Get rid of the 70.
I don't know about. Well, we got to give and take here because because they're not going to give us. They're like, oh, you can't.
Well, the 30-minute break is bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. There's no reason why we should do that. Run your 11 hours or your 14 clock and get rid of the 70. There's no reason to have the 70. Period.
Right. Yeah, I think we could, and I think we can make more. I think we'll be able to be more safer.
Honestly, how many people really
and actually make more money that way as well too. I think.
Honestly, how many people actually drive straight 11 hours? I never have. I don't drive.
Nobody
straight 11
does.
Hours. Yeah,
no,
well, I'm sure
I don't even drive.
Somebody on here that's going to say they do. You know that, but
dude, I don't even drive 8 hours straight most of the time. I don't even drive 8 hours straight. But when I get tired, when I feel like I'm getting tired, I don't want the clock. I don't want to look at the clock and be like, oh man, I got another 4 hours. Oh, I got another 2 hours. I want to go ahead and just pull over and park now. Yep. I want to take a little 10-minute break, but then in about an hour, I still got to do another 30-minute break. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to skip that 10-minute break. I'm going to drive a little bit more tired so I can go ahead and take that 30-minute break. Is that safe?
I like taking the break too. That's why I love the split sleeper.
Mm-hmm. Does this mean less water all over the bathroom floor? It might be a lot less water bottles, man. I don't know. We will see. We'll see. Love says I have a Cummins in mind. Hey, I'm just gonna say you've been in the shop too. I'm just saying you've been in the shop more often than not. So I'm gonna just put that out. Maybe the A26 ain't so bad. I'm just gonna say that.
Truck drivers have to be proficient in English. What do you think about that?
That's a good idea.
Really?
Guys can't talk English.
Yeah.
They can't read. There's a lot of wrecks. Guys being on roads they're not supposed to be because they follow the GPS. They're reading that.
I want to buy your.
Sorry, guys, I don't have.
I can pay you cash for your house no matter what condition it's in. If you need to sell.
Do you have to read them like a paper map?
It's a good idea. GPS will lead you astray.
Really?
Yeah, you kind of know where you're going.
Wow.
I can read no paper maps.
GPS says you can go down that road.
I ain't read no paper maps.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to all speak English.
What countries are people becoming truck drivers from?
A lot of Russians and Saudi Arabia, maybe. I'm not sure. A lot of, I guess they're Indians.
Yeah.
A lot of Indians.
I see. And what kind of tests do you have to do to be able to drive this truck? Are they doing the same test for everybody?
They're supposed to, but I don't know if they do. There's CDL schools that aren't. They just pass them.
Oh.
It's not much of a test anyway. There's people driving that have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, that's really dangerous.
Just down there in Austin, Texas, a month ago, 2 months ago, they had that accident.
I didn't know that.
I think it was the Indian guy, ran into 7 cars, didn't speak any English, stopped the construction, killed.
Yeah, we were just talking about that earlier.
And how come you think that they're hiring them? Just cheaper? Or?
government, some of these immigrants, the governments are paying the bill for them. They're paying the fuel bill. They're buying them trucks, I think.
And so you have to buy your own fuel?
Yeah, I got to pay for everything. You got immigrants coming in, illegals, and the government's paying everything for them, and they're all the cheap rate, driving the rates down. How do you compete with that?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How do you like being a truck driver?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like seeing country.
Good. You do good work. We need people like you.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'm making a video about truck drivers. I was just wondering if you like the job and what's it like.
It's all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's traffic.
Has traffic gotten worse, or is it the same that it's always been?
It's getting more busier. You know what I mean? More people are coming in. That's just about it.
Let's see. Last Calhoun says he has never needed or had to use a split sleeper until forced onto ELD. Before it was just easier for him to find parking. Also.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole country or here in Colorado?
Just here in Colorado.
Yeah, for sure. We've been growing like crazy.
Right.
Yeah. And so you're from Colorado?
Yeah.
How important is it for truck drivers to be able to speak English, do you think?
I don't think it matters, you know what I mean? But just when you're going inside the dispatch, you know what I'm saying? That's the case there.
Oh.
And then probably, gotta know how to read the signs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's dispatch?
That's when you go into a different facility. Like say I go inside to Bimbo, I got to talk to somebody that's in charge of the trucks and stuff.
I see.
The trucks.
And like gas prices, maintenance for the truck, how is all the costs in general?
Not on me.
Oh, okay. And what about tariffs? Do you think that that'll affect the supply chain and like the amount of work for truckers in our country?
Same thing. That's all about your company, you know what I'm saying? Things go up, we get paid more, you know what I mean?
And how is the pay for a truck driver?
Just depends who you work for, you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Everybody's different.
That was a company driver right there. So obviously his questions were probably a little bit different because, you know, he's not worried, like you was saying, he's not worrying about paying for fuel. He ain't got to worry about maintenance. He ain't got to worry about none of that stuff. Most of the time, he ain't got to worry about dealing with foreign drivers because, you know, his freight is specific to the cookie company that was shown in the video there.
Are you a tow truck for trucks?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And so you only tow semi-trucks?
I think medium or heavy duty, yeah.
Wow. When people call you, or most truck drivers, are they American or have you met a lot of foreign people?
What do you think, James?
Me?
Yeah, what do you think?
I already know the answer. I don't remember what he says, but in reality, we're at about 40% right now with foreign drivers. I don't know if you saw that, but that was on Asian My or one of the other shows that it's about 40% now. But go ahead, play it.
There's a lot of foreign drivers.
Really?
Yes.
And how good would you say their English is?
Especially Middle Eastern and Russian out here, big time. Like most of what we tow are Russian people. I mean, it's almost impossible to speak it.
It sounds like they might have more truck problems, and that's why they're needing to get towed more.
Yeah, because they buy the cheapest trucks possible that are, you know, halfway broke down already. So, I mean, it's total off.
And why do you think it's important for them to be able to speak English or know the culture?
I mean, the biggest issue is that accident that happened 4 or 5 years ago over on I-70. The driver came down the mountain, didn't really know what he was doing at all, came from a different country and lost his brakes and
Yeah, we was talking about that earlier as well too.
I-70, so there were plenty of signs for him to slow down or hit some, you know, basically go off the road without killing people. I don't know. It could have been prevented if
Yeah.
no people with some red English.
Was he? Do you know where he was from? I have to look into that.
Well, he was from somewhere like Ecuador or something.
I think it
could be
was
mistaken on
Cuba,
that one, but he got his license out in Texas.
if I remember.
And so it sounds like they might just be giving people licenses without having them pass tests.
Oh yeah, I've heard of schools basically. You pay them the money X amount.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
right. Why don't you read the
I got
next
for
two
YouTube,
comments,
not
and why don't
premium
we cut it?
YouTube.
Yeah, why don't you read the next two comments and we'll cut it short, man. I mean, we're running about 2.5. I got to get up in a few hours.
This is actually the last comment here. It says the
Did you read
ATA
Lance
uses
Calhoun?
fabricated driver shortage. Yeah, I already read it.
Okay.
The ATA uses a fabricated driver shortage to import foreign workers. Hashtag deport them all. I mean, we've been hearing it for years that there's been a shortage of truckers, there's a shortage of drivers. They've been real quiet about it for the last couple of years, though. To be honest with you, you know, they've also been complaining about the rates and how, you know, their customers, because the most of the ATA freight is not open market. You know, it's what's the word? What they call it? Dedicated freight or whatever.
Contract.
Contract freight. Yeah, now the contract freight that they're pulling it ain't even working for them. So it's like they shot themselves in the foot with the whole truck driver shortage problem, and we ain't hearing nothing from them as of late. So, anyways, but you guys got to see the video here. Like I said, it's on YouTube. You guys can go ahead and watch it as well too. Anyways, man, good show tonight. We've had our guest over here from Road Warrior Audio. You can see down in the link if you guys would like to purchase a headphone. The headsets. The discount code is RWFlyRabbit for a 25% discount.
All right, guys. So I put my phone number up there at the end. If anybody has any questions about the headsets or anything, or maybe you want to get my feedback about the headset, or you have questions for D, any kind of contact, I'll leave that up there for a second. Any kind of contact that you guys need for anything, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I'll be more than happy to put you to the right people. Go ahead, put your comment up. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Newman Attack says government did a study debunking driver shortages and only OIDA reported it. Well, it didn't benefit the ATA to put that report out, is what I would say. So there's that. Anyways, man, phone number's right up there again, guys. I appreciate you guys for sticking around an extra 45 minutes here after the end of the show. You know, normally I like to cut it off at 2 hours, but I did want to talk about that. I'm glad that you guys stayed steady on the numbers and stuck around with us. Show will be back on next week Sunday. We appreciate you guys for coming out and watching with us, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good night, guys. See y'all.